Old Dominion.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
The crossovers brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Josiah Doetzler is in the portal.
Oh.
Missed this past year when he transferred from Creighton to SLU.
Yeah.
Torn ACL.
I talked to Josh at a basketball
Yeah.
game on
The
the blue
Abide night?
on the blue out night. I was like, dang, I was sorry because he tore his ACL early
Yeah.
in the season. I was like, that was a shame. Didn't get any insight on whether he was going to go to the transfer portal or not, but I guess he is. There you go.
All right, come back to
Omaha guys. Omaha guys. You could build a whole roster full of them. Well, maybe not anymore.
That would be like how they would do if you put them in the tournament.
You could build a whole you as of this year, you could build an entire roster out of people who played in all those various iterations of the Bellevue West Miller North State Championship games, and be okay. You would be okay.
Would we have enough ball handlers though?
Well, you got Chucky and Josiah.
But they would be hurt. So we'd lose Trelly too. Trelly Wrightsell blew out his Achilles at Alabama.
Yeah, but injuries. Let's just say injuries.
Okay, so we're healthy.
Yeah, we're all healthy.
We are loaded.
Yeah,
that's a pretty damn good team.
That's a good backcourt. Then you got Frankie, Jason. You need a Tanji. You need a big.
William Kyle could fill in.
Yeah.
But we don't have.
You're probably a little small.
We just don't birth.
Do you have the?
We don't birth tall people in Nebraska.
Do you have the shooting?
We got Chuck. You get the Chuck.
You got Frankie. You got Hunter Salas.
Oh
yeah. You got South. You got Hunter.
It
is a deep backcourt.
You got Jaden Dawson.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
All
right. We're too deep now.
Now we're cooking with some peanut oil.
Yeah, we're too deep.
How come we don't birth tall people in Nebraska?
Yeah. What's up with that?
We birth offensive linemen.
Well,
we need to.
We make tight ends.
Yeah, but our tight ends are still like only 6'3", 6'4". For the sake of Mac, Fred, and Crutch, we need to start.
No, we need 7 footers.
What do you mean?
Why don't we birth 7 footers?
Yeah,
here?
where are the 7 footers?
Hey, don't look at
you
me.
guys have had sex and kids. What's the deal?
I had a.
Hey,
I couldn't tell you.
My child's in the 98th percentile for height.
To be determined. To be determined.
Your
I'm
kid's not
doing
going to
my
be
part.
tall.
You don't think so?
No, it is not going to.
How tall are your sofa?
Your kid's going to be a second baseman.
5'7", 5'8".
I don't. I mean,
Ryan Happer Terrio. That's what your kid will be.
Yeah. Well,
number 2, playing second base.
Now,
she's a girl.
Josh's son.
If you have a son,
I think your son. I think Josh. I think your son has a chance to be tall because both you and your wife are tall.
I believe they say double the height at their whatever 4th birthday or something like that.
Whoa! Wow!
Like,
really?
That's a thing.
Yeah, and that's the height they're going to be. So our kid is going to be like 6'4", I believe.
Okay, it's a race to age 4.
I have never heard that before.
I forget what age it is, but it's double the height.
Stretching out.
Yeah.
You know, one of those old wives things.
Tales.
Yeah,
But they're old wives' tales because they're true.
She's pretty good at throwing a baseball.
Swing that thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a little foam baseball, like a little promotions foam baseball, and she just chucks that thing.
Are we close to walking?
No.
Are we crawling?
We are definitely scooting.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we are definitively scooting
Set to pop.
at this point. Yeah, she's
How
moving.
old?
Almost 8 months.
Okay.
Almost 8 months.
We're scooting to 2.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
scooting.
We need to look into what's going on in our water in Nebraska that we are not birthing taller people.
Yeah.
I like it.
I started walking when I was 7 months.
I know.
It's not true.
There's always a bunch of tall
So
guys.
why?
There's always a bunch of tall people, but not like 6'10". You know.
Yeah, we don't have tall people in Nebraska.
That is okay.
Even
But
out
we
on
have-
the- even out on the
wait,
farm,
we
we don't have a
have-
lot of tall
let me
farmers.
adjust
we
this
have
here.
we have husky,
Yeah.
burly men.
You have when I am in Chicago
Farm
and I am
people.
out on the town in Chicago, I am, believe it or not, with the right shoes, a taller guy. Okay. I'm
Oh,
a
wow.
taller human. Okay. 5'11" to 6 feet. I'm doing a pretty good job. Okay. There's a short person epidemic in Chicago. When I come here to Nebraska and I'm out in a boot, I am short. I am a dwarf. I am a minion.
Little boy.
I am a little baby boy.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody here is god dang 6'3", 6'4". They're all tall. So when you guys sit up here and you're like, we don't have enough tall people
We
here.
need taller people.
We need taller.
Yeah.
You need the giants.
We need
We're-
6'7" and above.
Where my freaks
if
at?
you looked at the 7 footers, or like the people
Full question?
if you looked at the people 6'10" and above, like in college basketball,
Yeah.
where do you think the heat chart would be?
The
like
South.
really?
Yeah, the South or California.
All right.
Do you see? We need more Greg Burks.
I mean, obviously there's
Yeah.
overseas.
we need
too.
more of those Illinois wrestlers who are getting with 6'3" volleyball girls.
Like, where's Vlad Golden?
Well, that would be
Like Europe, I'm pretty sure.
But like, I know his name is Vlad, but like, where's
He's probably from
Russia?
Eastern Europe.
yeah, Russia.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
When-
worst
when-
example.
Yeah.
How about Danny Wolf? Look
Oh,
up
he gets
Danny
a-
Wolf.
yeah.
So hold
Danny
on
Wolf
about
might be a-
Golden. I still really am surprised that more people weren't outraged when Michigan was playing here. In that scintillating 49-46 game.
That was awesome.
Then when he was at the
Banger.
free throw line, the chant of USA rang out through the PBA.
It wasn't a national.
That was
game.
like they got him with what was his name from Michigan back in the day? Mo Wagner.
Yeah.
They kept calling him Wagner.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Danny Wolf is from
Mo-
Glencoe, Illinois.
Yeah.
That's your guy. He's 7 feet tall. So they got some tall people, and I don't know where Glencoe is.
Glencoe.
Glencoe,
Not Chicago.
not the Chicagoland.
I mean, people from Glencoe might claim it's the Chicagoland,
Well,
but
let's
it's
see.
not the Chicagoland.
Let's see.
Can you
Oh,
just say
pretty sure it's
you
north.
live in that state? You can just say, yeah, I'm from Chicagoland.
It's north.
Oh, it's the Chicagoland.
It's north.
It's the Chicagoland over by Highland Park. Still south of Highland
Park.
Skokie Country Club
Mm.
area.
Highland Park is a
That's
ritzy place.
that's absolutely Chicagoland.
Highland-
Phil
Winnetka.
Phil
First off-
Jackson
first
lived
off-
in Highland Park.
There are people who are in the chat who often want to say to me, "Skokie isn't in Chicago." So Glencoe isn't Chicago.
Where's Deerfield? Is that Chicagoland?
No,
No?
absolutely not.
Northbrook?
That's north of me. If you're claiming that I'm not Chicago,
No,
then that's not Chicago.
I'm not claiming that.
No, you live in Chicago.
You're,
I
from,
live in
you're from Chicago. I'm from
Northbrook.
Chicago.
Northbrook is north.
Thin
Northbrook,
crust pizza?
Glencoe,
No,
that's
thank you. I'm from
Chicago. That's
Chicago.
Glencoe is a little like toward the Highland Park area. It's a little bit up there. It would be considered Chicago.
That's
But
Chicagoland.
it's like Highland Park is. You were right. Gary was right on it. Highland Park is ritzy. all right? Like,
Danny
Highland
Wolf spent
Park
his
is
summers
a-
at Glencoe Beach.
Highland Park is
on Lake
a
Michigan.
Glencoe Beach is nice. It's
See?
nice.
There
nice
you
place
go.
to
There you go. Couple
You
country
think,
clubs
you
up
think
there.
people in Gretna and Elkhorn say they were from Omaha?
Wait, so you didn't know where Glencoe was, but you know where Glencoe Beach was?
Glencoe was north. I said it was a Chicagoland area, and it was north.
But you were like, "What's Glencoe?" Before.
No, I said Glencoe.
Oh,
I said I knew
okay, I must have
Glencoe.
misremembered that 10 seconds ago.
Glencoe Beach is nice.
All right. Yep, Glencoe Beach is nice.
It's typically you're in like Glenview. Glencoe is a weird
Okay.
area. Like I don't even know where he went to school.
Let's find out.
Is it Glenbrook North?
Northfield Mount
Yeah.
Herman. No,
Yeah.
this is in Massachusetts. He went to high school in Massachusetts.
There you go.
Was he a prep school kid?
Well, he went to Yale, remember?
Yeah. So I wonder if he was a prep school kid.
Maybe. It's possible. There's the history on Danny Wolf.
When I opened up my prep school here in Omaha, you guys all know.
Ooh.
Really?
Just an athletic prep school.
Build a basketball powerhouse?
Gary Sharp School of Broadcasting, but it also has a really strong athletic department.
Watch out.
Hey, I've always thought that Elkhorn Mount Michael would be the perfect prep school and just make it into an athletic powerhouse.
You're going to commandeer Mount Michael?
Yeah, because it's already kind of a prep school.
The Mount.
Why not?
They play sports. We'll just take it to a whole nother level.
You
What do you
should be
do
their
with
general manager.
What do you do with the religion part? You keep it?
Yeah, if people want to partake in religion, they can. I don't want to stop anybody.
Oh, here's Gary rating another FCA meeting.
I mean, you want to give kids that are coming to Omaha that option. It's part of the curriculum, but it should not. You don't have to be a certain, religion.
Tyler says on YouTube that we don't have tall people because of the fluoride in the water.
Now that is, I've heard that before.
Too much fluoride.
So are you saying
Fluoride is great. They clean my teeth.
this is something I need to investigate because that could be.
It also makes us shorter, apparently.
So then in the South, South you get a little bit.
coffee.
The profile is a little bit bigger because of the food, and there are more tall people in Southern California. So does Southern California not have fluoride in their
I
water?
don't know what they do with their water in Southern California. Straight out the ocean, I guess.
I was told going to the East Coast last week that East Coast water tastes the best of any place in the country.
I didn't notice a difference in the taste of the water when I was there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the Dasani water you were having at a New York pizza shop didn't taste any better.
No, I noticed that the bagels and the pizza were better.
Yeah,
but
But you never turned on the tap in your hotel room.
I was
Put your tongue.
No. Now that I think about it, no. I mostly went off of bottled water.
See, now next time Happer goes back to New York, he's like, all right, I'm going to try this tap water.
See what this is all about.
I can't recall the last time, because we all have basically refrigerators that, have water, or you buy bottled water, that you turned on the cold water spigot, your faucet, and
Spigot?
that's what they call it. St.
Absolutely.
Louis, when I was a young kid.
Spigot.
Spigot.
My dad asked at a hotel in St. Louis, where is the drinking fountain, ma'am? And she said, the cold water spigot is right over there.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, I like that
Yeah.
name. I can't recall the last time I took a cup and under my sink turned on the faucet.
I know.
You know what they call
Sometimes
water-
I have, sorry,
you know what they call a water fountain in Wisconsin, man?
a bubbler.
A bubbler,
A
man.
bubbler.
Yes.
A bubbler.
My son prefers the tap water.
Really?
He's a monster.
I take an extra sip when I brush
doesn't
my
like-
teeth in the morning.
He doesn't like cold water.
I sneak an extra
I
sip in
only
there.
exclusively drink out of a Brita. Okay?
Pretty much me too.
Yeah,
It's on par. It's on
Yeah.
par from where I grew up.
You know, like the airports now, they have the things where you could put your little cup
Yes.
underneath it, and it tells you how many trees you're saving or whatever. Or
That's right.
how much of the planet.
those
that
things
you're
have been
saving.
around for so long. Now we're up to the millions.
But
I
they
mean,
don't
it's incredible.
have any. They don't have any water fountains like you could drink directly from it. I want to see somebody put their head right underneath the.
You definitely can, and I definitely
killed the water
have.
fountain.
COVID killed the water
COVID
fountain.
killed the water fountain.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a shame.
That
the
sounds
water
like
fountain
a
used to be a
great
great
band
place.
name.
COVID killed the
Hey,
water
it
fountain.
was sad.
Yeah.
You would go places and it would have it covered up, and it was very sad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sad things.
Yeah,
that
remember
happened
it
during
would spray it. They would put those devices on the thing where it would spray it in a. What a weird time that was. Weird time.
What were we doing 5 years ago on March 25th?
Oh, great question. Let's go look at my camera roll.
Oh, I can go. I think.
Had to be really in the thick of it. Like, oh wow, this might be a while,
This is pretty bad.
right?
Let's see.
Everything was shut down. We were still doing shows.
March 25th. I have nothing from March 25th, but I have a couple from March 24th and 26th.
We were trying to figure out if prom was still going to happen.
Looks like I was
We
still.
were.
Oh, I'll tell you what I did on March 26th. March 26th, so we were in the heat of sports not being on
Yeah.
television anymore or being played at all.
1984 ALCS was on ESPN or something.
Close.
Like that.
Close. So on ESPN on, I think it was a Friday night on March 26th, I remember it, and I sat by my TV and they played the 20th of the 20-game win streak for the A's.
Oh,
That was depicted in Moneyball, which happened to be against the Kansas City Royals. Yeah, I have a screenshot of it right here.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
There you go. I think that's Kit Pello. I was like rooting for the Royals. I'm like, yeah, got it. They were up 10-0.
This
And
is
then they came back and took the 11-10 lead and then tied it up at 11 in the ninth before that freaking Scott Hatteberg came to the plate. Unbelievable.
Do you want to know what? So I don't have a March 25th picture.
Uh-huh.
But the closest picture, I swear to you, the closest picture I have to March 25th is from my mother-son dance back at Notre Dame College Prep,
Wow.
which we talked about today on the radio.
March 27th, it looks like I began to do my show from home on March 27th. That was when I got kicked out of the office.
Wow.
Look at this. So I had a picture from my home office at the time, and I caught a piece of my tweet deck.
Yeah.
Tweet deck.
So here was a tweet that was at the top of my timeline at the time. It was from Brian Christopherson. Huskers recruiting target of the day, Marquise Irving, a running back who is very popular in Big Ten country, aka Bucky Irving, who is now a pretty good player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There you go. Huskers recruiting target of the day. Should have got
crazy.
that guy. A lot of tweets about the Tiger King.
I don't
it
have a
looks
lot
like,
of
too.
pictures in my camera roll.
Yeah,
during
Tiger
that
King was
time.
running hot
Yeah,
5
it
years
was
ago.
big
today.
Tiger King time. Absolutely. Looks like I did a Nebraska lottery crossword puzzle.
Okay.
You take pictures of everything you're doing?
I took a lot of pictures during this time, apparently.
I think all my pictures are probably on my iPad because that's where I was doing my remote classwork.
I shaved my beard on March 31st.
Can I see?
Yeah, that's what I looked like.
Thank God.
Yeah, I look bad.
Yeah.
I look bad. There you go. That was good.
Oh my God.
I shaved my head.
You look
too.
like a thumb from Spy Kids.
I did. Look, it was, but I knew I wasn't going out in public for the next several months, so I figured I'd just start anew. Oh, looks like I was watching Game 7 of the 2014 World Series right around that time too. Man, I really like Payne.
Oh, that kid looks like you.
That's the kid from the College World Series.
Yeah, he looks like you when you're shaved.
Yeah.
And if you were to still have hair.
The eyebrow kid?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're still a couple of weeks from Last Dance being pushed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that didn't happen until June, right?
I think middle of April.
Oh, really?
Weren't they finishing it?
They
were still editing it.
The original plan was they were going to play it on the off days of the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And then the finals didn't happen until August anyway.
The director did a bunch of interviews where he said, we were editing that thing 1 week. Like episode 2 aired, we were finishing episode 3.
That's awesome.
They were
like South Park.
I remember reading articles about that, like documentary and everything like that. And all the article said was, no, it's not going to be a Michael Jordan love fest. It won't be a Michael Jordan. It's actually there's been this footage that's been locked up in this library in New Jersey and no one's been able to touch it. And it's going to really be a whole full story rendition of what they went through in 98. And it was just a full Michael Jordan love fest.
Will there be? Is there another athlete that you could put together 10 episodes that would be as riveting as The Last Dance?
They will do one on LeBron.
Can you get 10?
You can for sure get 10. Oh my God, you can get 10.
Have you seen what's going on TikTok nowadays with LeBron?
Everybody, it's cool to like love him. It's cool to like make songs about him and
actually healthy.
My sunshine, my darling sunshine.
There is a whole genre of music about LeBron, just parody songs about LeBron James.
You want to hear one?
Yeah, they're all.
I have it saved on my phone.
Talking about the man on the Lakers. LeBron.
All right,
that's one of them.
Can we play this?
Sure, why not?
Whatever. Can't really hear it that well, but there you go.
And he plays a role. Then he's the one they call the kid from Akron, Ohio.
Okay, this will be how you determine. Let's let LeBron do a 10 episode, and then whatever one rated better is the GOAT, and the discussion is over.
Wow, that's how you do it. It's all TV ratings these days anyway.
10 riveting episodes of LeBron?
You can absolutely. He came from Akron, Ohio. He was in Spring Hill. He came from nothing. Rent was $20 a month from where he grew up.
They
right?
tried to
when
bust
he was 18,
him for a West
he was,
Unseld
he was,
jersey.
He was the chosen. I don't care about your jokes right now. When he was 18, he was declared the chosen one.
That's
all right?
a real thing that happened to him.
He went to Reebok offered him $10 million. All right, to not talk to Nike, and he said no. It was the hardest decision he ever made.
They made a whole movie about Michael Jordan and his shoe deal. It was a good one.
Mm-hmm. It was a really good one.
Yeah. You can do more than 10 episodes on LeBron, I feel like. You can do a whole episode in the 2011 finals.
High school.
You can do a whole episode in the 2016 finals.
I think you could do a movie on like the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good fodder.
I'm shocked that Hulu hasn't out of all the Hulu remakes
they've
done.
And you have now the guy who would play LeBron. It's Mr. Milchick from Severance. That guy.
I thought you were going to
LeBron.
say, let Sierra Wright grow up a little bit, There you go. And then he can be LeBron.
Sierra Wright, the actor.
You could do high school, that first run in Cleveland, the decision.
Miami.
Whoa.
Miami
First run in
Heatles.
Cleveland is 7 years. I mean, you're missing getting his ass kicked by the Celtics. You're missing
a lot of
who plays Ricky Davis?
Him losing to the Spurs. I want to know who plays Delonte West. That's who I want.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's another side story.
He might play himself.
He might need the money.
He definitely does.
That is true.
Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
could play Delonte
Yeah, he's
West.
had a similar life path.
Yeah.
He's
I
doing
just wanna
better now,
know
though.
Who
maybe?
plays Adele in the real life in the
Yeah.
LeBron James real life version? Who plays Adele?
Adele has to play Adele. You cannot have a stand-in.
Well, then
for
Rich
Adele.
Paul has to play Rich Paul. Then
He does.
You
And
think
I bet
that-
he would.
There you go.
yeah, Maverick Carter would definitely play Maverick Carter. I feel like that's just kind of out
But
there.
then you're like, okay, we got 3 people playing themselves. I don't like this.
I wonder if this is going to happen.
yes, it's Brady and LeBron.
Absolutely.
it's
There's
Brady.
definitely going to be some LeBron stuff.
The next great 10-part docuseries though, or X-part docuseries will be Tiger.
But-
Tiger will be the next one to get your full. Oh my God, this is incredible documentary.
I'd actually like to see Tiger have one of those cheesy FX docuseries more than like a real
Oh, like
Last
with
Dance.
the reenactments?
Yeah, yeah. Like
You
the,
wanna-
like the People versus OJ, where everyone's got a bad
Oh,
wig
yeah.
that isn't quite tightened on the right way.
Yeah, you get the guy from Friends in there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would rather see that than a Last Dance.
that's actually
style.
great. That's much better. I agree. I don't want
Who
the
plays
true.
Lindsey Vaughn?
I don't want the true story. I want the story being
Gas it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. A
And
little
that
extra.
Thanksgiving night outside of their house.
Uh-huh.
That
Like-
would be kind of interesting.
Like
on
when
one
they
of those
told me how
cheesy
gay
FXs.
Aaron Hernandez was.
You right.
That's the kind I want.
Yeah. Yes. That I see clips of that show sometimes.
Did
like,
you guys know Aaron
When
Hernandez
Robert-
was
so
gay?
bad.
that
when-
looks horrendous.
When Robert Kraft walked into the draft room is one of the greatest television moments ever. With
the
by
guy
way,
who played Belichick
it was
was
great.
pretty good.
He was
Yeah.
great. He was exactly. He goes, "How about Hernandez? How about Hernandez? Yeah, I don't know.
They
Two
go-
tight ends, line them up with a fullback. Huh, no one's ever done that
They
before."
go in after he got arrested, and the PR lady's like, "Hey, I think we got to do a press conference, and Bill, you got to be up there." And he goes, "I'm like, that's exactly how probably it went."
that's actually the true part of this true story.
Hey, how about Belichick didn't even show up for North Carolina's pro day because he was too busy?
Yeah, he's
He's got to recruit, man. He's got to recruit.
He's got a girlfriend.
Him. Girlfriends are expensive.
Girlfriend
man.
didn't put it in his schedule.
Probably true.
Is she his personal assistant?
Oh, you have to. All emails have to include her.
You're kidding.
No, that's a real thing. You didn't hear about that?
I did not hear about
Yeah,
that.
like the first day he got to North Carolina, he replied to the assistant AD and said, "From now on, please include what's her name, Jordan, in all,
yeah.
in all these emails, as she will be keeping my schedule."
Wow.
Wow is right. Wow is right.
Wow. This is like a Yako Ono situation. A little
Where do
bit.
you think she will be during the
Yako
games?
Ono.
Yoko Ono?
Just picture Yakko from the Animaniacs
Jocko?
dressed. As
He was
Yoko Ono.
He was the greatest home run hitter in the history of Japanese baseball.
That's right. That's Sadaharu O. I
Oh,
believe.
excuse me.
Yes. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Bernie says you could do a whole episode on how to pretend like you've been shot when an opponent almost touches you. An episode on bitching at officials if you miss a shot and we're almost fouled.
Yeah. You do a whole episode on the tuck thing, and
How-
they did that one though, didn't they? Because they had
had the tuck.
Charles.
They did a
They
30
had
for
Charles
30.
Woodson. Yeah.
It was pretty good.
We don't
actually.
do 30s for 30s anymore.
We not well.
They like sat down on a couch and watched it together.
Yeah, and they were just ripping each other.
And
the
Tom
whole
Brady
time.
was like, "Well, sorry."
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Charles, but what are you gonna do?
Why has the quality of 30 for 30s or the quantity gone away?
Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
Is that really because
Yeah.
he left ESPN?
He was the executive producer for so many of these things. I mean, his name was all
That's
over.
my guess. And now it's just
Him and
an
Him
entity.
and Coward had a little 26-minute interview yesterday.
Yeah.
They contract Bill out now to do Celtic stocks.
This really reminds me of the 1987 Celtics.
I bought ESPN Plus because they put the entire 30 for 30
Library.
catalog
Yeah.
on the paywall.
Yeah.
They don't, but like they don't.
Now it's on Disney
I
Plus.
don't want to say they're running out of stories, but it's just like some of the last big one was the home run race between McGuire and Sosa, and
What happened to the Nebraska 30 for 30?
Huh. Well, so ESPN wanted a different spin on it. They wanted controversy.
They wanted the
They
U?
wanted the U. And the people that were involved from the Nebraska side, like players and the Peters,
Sure.
were like, I don't think that's where we're going. So it is sitting so they had done like 26 hours of interviews that is sitting somewhere. I don't know if
is it in a library in New Jersey?
I don't know if Christian has it. Somebody has like a majority of the interviews because they came here and I was going to be in it. They interviewed Damon and myself.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, for like 2 hours downstairs.
That's awesome.
Like they interviewed Damon for a long time, and then they had Tommy Frazier, they had Coach Osborne,
Could
and
have
then
been.
ESPN they wanted to tell the story about how the team was able to stick together and won championships. ESPN wanted more of Jason Jenkins, fights in bars, and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I guess I get that.
But
That
the
makes
college
sense.
football
Yeah.
30 for 30s usually do well. They used to have one
After
every
the
year
Heisman.
after the Heisman.
That's right.
And
right.
it would be great.
Catholics versus convicts.
When did the 97 race for the Heisman come out? When did that 30 for 30 come out? Was that recent?
It did a 30 for 30 on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 97 Heisman.
I never
race.
watched it, but I remember it was after the Heisman one year.
Yeah,
So-
it was.
2 years ago? 3 years ago?
I think that makes sense because they phoned that one in.
Mm.
And I felt like this was like I don't know if they're putting as much effort into these because in the beginning they go, well, we used no new footage. We used all footage from
Oh.
1997
That's-
and from all,
yeah.
Mhm.
and we didn't interview anybody new. And I'm like, that's kind of defeats the point of this thing. Like you're supposed to kind of look back on it and talk about what happened then now. And they just were like, no, we didn't do any new interviews. And I just don't think they wanted to go out and get Randy Moss and Peyton Manning, Woodson, all those people. I think that was kind of the beginning of like, meh, we don't really, not as much care as there used to be with that stuff.
Yeah, there was so I'm looking at the first season. So the first season had Without Bias, which was a great one. That was in 2009. The U. Reggie Miller versus the Knicks, winning time.
Great
That
one.
is such a good one.
Yeah. June 17th, 1994.
My favorite.
That's a good one.
Which uses no talking head footage.
That's right.
No.
Jordan rides the bus.
Classic.
Yep. These are all, that was all in the first season. Pony Excess capped off the first season.
Express.
Pony Excess.
Excess. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
SMU,
Excess is the name of the movie.
It's SMU.
The team was Pony,
Pony
Express.
Yeah.
Fab 5 started off season 2.
That was great.
Make one on the Crab 5.
Catching Hell.
That was a phenomenal one.
Bartman. The Real Rocky the Marinovich Project.
The one about Diego Maradona.
Yeah. That was in the first 2 seasons, I think. Yeah. Now
When was the
there's
last 30 for 30 that was released?
Well, they like brand them in different ways. So there's like 30 for 30 shorts.
It's like different.
Then
now
there's
they have 30.
ESPN
They have
original
30 for 30
films,
podcast
yeah.
now too. They did a 30 for 30 podcast on Conseco.
So
It was really good.
according to Wikipedia, they looked back at the defensive line of the 80s Jets, the New York Sack
that was the last
Exchange,
one.
That one
The-
wasn't
that was
the Sack
bad.
Exchange?
just a few months ago.
Well, okay, hold on. So
Then the Ravens one wasn't too far
when
after
is-
that, right?
when is
Or
the-
before that?
the Gastineau, was that in the Sack
I
Exchange?
assume
Yeah,
that
it
was
is
Sack
Sack
Favre?
Exchange.
Yes.
Okay.
But then there wasn't the Ravens one right before that, the 2000 Ravens, and then Trent Dilfer like had a big like line in it. And he was like, quarterbacks these days are soft, essentially, even though he wasn't that great. Somehow was an even worse coach.
He won a Super Bowl.
He did.
People
He
forget.
does in Ring Society. He's better than Marino. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Better than many.
Just throw a little fire.
Better than most.
Better than most.
I'm,
Trent
gl-
Dilfer's good.
I'm glad Dude Perfect got a 30 for 30.
Yeah, Dude Perfect got like it's
I think they
one of the
funded
last
that.
ones.
I
here.
wouldn't be surprised if they funded that themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Have
sense.
you
I'm
seen?
pretty-
Have you seen those dudes like warehouse that they have?
Yeah, it's
It's-
incredible. DPHQ3.
Okay, there you go. Out of
Or
control.
it's actually DPHQ3. There you go.
You
I'm
got it.
losing count.
Look
great
at the content
DPHQ.
creators of Dude Perfect going over their dramatic rise and sacrifices they went through in the realm of sports-themed entertainment.
Yeah. I
No
mean, they-
Scope, the story of FaZe Clan.
Oh no!
See, that one I
Oh,
saw.
no.
Whoa.
Oh no!
That one I saw part of. It was actually really interesting. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw part of it. I didn't think it was that terrible.
Oh no!
The Dude Perfect 30 for 30 I will not watch. Because if
The
you just
86 Mets was last year, right?
What was that
No.
called? The Amazing.
No,
A
wasn't
couple
there a
years ago?
strawberry and
Strawberry and Gooden did
yeah.
one. I think it was around the 86 Mets.
I don't think that was last year. right?
No.
That was long ago. Doc and Daryl.
Doc
was
and Daryl.
2016.
Once Upon a Time in Queens,
Yeah.
Yes.
2021.
Okay.
There you go.
Two underrated ones, both basketball. When the Garden Was Eden, that was about the like 70s Knicks, and Magic Moment, which was about Penny and Shaq. Magic Moment was awesome.
I liked the Magic Moment. It was all about
So
how we got Shaq and Penny. We're definitely going to be back. We're definitely going to do this.
and then
So
they
we
got-
lost the first NBA Finals. That's fine.
That
You
is
could make
wild
an
how-
exact similar one about the Thunder.
That is why. Oh, they could. I mean,
Yep.
you had Westbrook, Harden, and
Oh, yeah?
Durant together. That's crazy. Okay, we don't need to keep showing the Juju injury.
Yeah, I know. They keep doing that.
How crazy that roster was with Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a big time roster.
Skiles, Anderson. those
Requiem
two.
for the Big East, March 16th,
Now,
2014.
I really like that
Mhm.
Yep.
because I like the old school Big East tournament footage they'd use.
Mhm.
Lou Conasecca.
What's the Chris Herron one? Didn't they have a Chris Herron one?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Unguarded.
Unguarded. That was a real sad one. Chris Herron spoke at my high school.
That was in 2011.
Yeah. We watched that in health class when they were teaching us don't do drugs. We watched the Chris Herron
Among other
Unguarded.
things.
Among other things in health class.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had that a little bit earlier in my Catholic school ringing up. It
All
was
right.
like 5th grade, I think.
Well, you guys have a great afternoon.
Hey, I'll see you later today at Tal Anderson.
That's right. Baseball. Ping.
I'll be in Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. Ask some good questions. Hey, it's Matt McMaster from 1620 The Zone.
I won't be doing
All right.
Get that brand in.
All right. That's the crossover powered by
joke about it.
Ever-
representation.
Ever Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It is Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
Another mild and breezy Tuesday in the forecast. Out the door this morning, temperatures will be in the middle 30s outside. Partly cloudy skies developing by the afternoon hours with temperatures getting into the middle 60s outside, but it will also come with a gusty northwest wind through the middle of the day. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
This is the official station of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament in Omaha. Follow all the action from the first tip to the final buzzer right here. Westwood One's coverage of March Madness is locally presented by Woodhouse GMC Buick and is also locally brought to you by Union Bank and Trust in Omaha. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Welcome, everybody. There will be Matt Rule saying words today.
Oh, yeah.
It won't be, I don't think it'll be that long, and I don't think it'll be that, it'll be football-y, which is good. You know, last couple times that we've spoken to him since the bowl game, it's been big picture. How do we deal with this and this change? And coaches are leaving and their
O-linemen are dead.
O-linemen, yeah. Actually, it'll be more about that now. You know, like how do you sift your way through spring ball with only X amount of guys who are available on the offensive line for you? Or what's that competition look like at corner? You know, stuff. How do you feel about the running back position with Emmett Johnson kind of leading the way? All of those questions will be asked in just a little while. We'll keep you apprised of everything that, not everything that Matt Rule has to say, but anything important if it comes up during the show today. Allan Bell will join at 11:30. We'll talk NCAA tournament with him, maybe some baseball futures. It is Baseball Eve.
Oh,
that
hello.
is what MLB Network is calling it anyway. Tomorrow is Baseball Eve, so that makes today Baseball Eve.
Makes sense to me.
And then Thursday is opening day, Major League Baseball. I think maybe tomorrow we'll do our baseball predictions.
I will be prepared.
If we have time.
Oh.
Potentially it becomes a Thursday item. And tomorrow we'll talk to Jake Eisenberg as well.
Right.
I got a text from young Jake last night. It was a picture of him in a studio somewhere, probably in Texas, reading liners for 1620 The Zone. You're listening to Royals Baseball on 1620 The Zone. You're listening to Royals Baseball on 1180 The Zone.
That is what I wrote for him to say. You said it.
It says your name right on this piece of paper.
Oh,
your
wow.
home for Royals Baseball all season long is 1620 The Zone. And then another one for 1180 The Zone. 1180 The Zone tonight will be the home of Creighton Baseball against the Omaha Mavericks at 5 o'clock. I will be there, and fun will be had by all.
Get to the towel.
Get to the towel, everybody. AB will join us at 11:30. Jacob Bigelow coming up at 1. That's the lineup powered by the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'd love to hear from you all today on the program. 402-951-1620 on the hotline. Call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh L at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. What's up, brother? I saw actually a video of that guy lately.
Was it the really sad one?
Yeah, he is not. It doesn't
He's
seem
not
like he's
well.
doing very well.
Leave what's up, brother guy alone.
Sketch?
Yeah, leave Sketch alone, everybody.
Yeah, he needs to probably do less streams and less podcasts. Just take a beat. Take a beat.
Yeah.
Chill out for anyway.
Go on
what's
a
up, brother?
yog.
We'll always have the summer of what's up, brother. So that is the setup for today's show. Elsewhere, Matt Rule speaks today. We love some spring football, don't we, folks? We never got to Nebraska baseball yesterday, so we'll give you an update on how it's going. Aside from them being 2-7 in the Big Ten and being in second to last place at the moment I looked this up this morning, 12-team Big Ten tournament that will feature pool play at the Chuck Box in late May.
Pool play.
Pool A, B, C, and D. The winners of the pools go to a semifinal. It's odd. Nebraska on the outside looking in, way on the outside looking in of the Big Ten baseball tournament. Right now, we'll have some questions about them. We're on portal watch. Nobody from either Nebraska nor Creighton in the transfer portal yet. We'll take a look at what's there, what's not there, and what might be on the horizon for those teams in the transfer portal. Welcome back to looking at pictures from practice season. Did you see the pictures yesterday?
No.
Like there was like an 8-second video as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, dive head first. Dive head first into the pictures. And can I interest you in Nebraska football's new numbers? They got some guys we'll grade the numbers.
Like jersey numbers?
Yeah, jersey numbers.
Why would you commit to a jersey number now?
I mean, you know, I don't
isn't the
think-
goal to be a single digit?
I don't think it's a commitment necessarily, but you know, this will help you identify who's being depicted in these pictures
Okay,
that we're
that's
going to end
true.
up looking at.
That's true.
But you know, certain numbers look better on certain players and certain
Sure.
positions on the field, and there's certain numbers I like. You know, as they say in Severance, how do you know when the numbers are, you know, when you have to deposit the numbers into the little box there, because it's when they become scary.
Okay.
Josh, how many episodes of Severance have you watched?
3 or 4.
All right. So maybe you would know about that. Maybe you wouldn't know about that. When you feel an emotion toward a number. All right. Anyway, so we'll probably bring that up during the show today. And an episode of college basketball reaction overreaction.
Oh yeah.
We figured we would wake up the writers. Wake up, idiots. How they doing?
Lazy asses out of bed.
Yep. And so they have some takes for us or some questions, and we will be responding to those in the noon hour. We are very happy and pleased that you are with us here on this Tuesday. We will come back and fire things up. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, UConn PR nightmare. Ouch.
Oh, God.
Ouch. Maybe we'll touch on that a little bit as we return on a Tuesday edition of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? you get a prize.
Have you seen the news that the snow may not be done?
I literally during the last segment I saw something. I think it was from Lincoln Rusty, not Omaha Rusty. Really weird.
Why is everybody Rusty?
Why there's 2 weathermen in this state with the name Rusty.
Yeah. What did you see?
I saw a tweet that said, "Hey, snow might not be done. Might be coming this weekend."
Oh.
And to that I say, bleep you, weatherman.
I am shocked and surprised at the fact that the weather could be out of control. But we're just going to have to deal with it. It is still March.
I mean,
anything could happen.
It'll be a lot like the last one where it's here and gone in 48 hours.
That was a real pain in the butt, though.
It was. That was
and
some
there's
heavy snow.
Still a big dirt pile in our parking lot.
The top of my vehicle is disgusting.
It is horrendous. And I'm trying to find the right time to get a car wash.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's hard to do around this. This is why they upsell you on the subscription.
And it's why they have 47,000 locations.
Because you could need it probably twice a week around this point. There's just crap everywhere.
Always a line of 12 cars.
Yeah. And then the sun comes out. The one day the sun comes out, everybody's in line at the car wash. Got a tweet from Sam here.
Hi, Sam.
Rusty Lord always seems too enthusiastic about the adverse weather. I would imagine that's it's like game day for weather people.
And he's big, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to appropriate his opinion.
Don't put it on the internet that we are saying anything about weather people.
I believe he's a big, you think the Oma Dome's a thing? You rube.
There's a lot more. Gets
a little up on his haunches.
It's like the flat earthers of weather.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more of them. And there's a lot more evidence to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So I God bless the weather people in this fine state. I would imagine that, this is like the SEC of weather. This is like the SEC of where to be geographically from a weather perspective.
Get all 4 seasons.
If you're a weatherman in Southern California, or weather woman and meteorologist in Southern California, you're like, oh, it's going to be 76 and sunny today. Great. You could pre-record
copy paste.
You could pre-record your weather broadcast if you want to. Here you're like, I don't know what it's going to be 10 seconds from now. It's high stakes. It's a high wire act. They're like the Walendas. In a way.
It's incredible how often the Walendas.
When I think of someone walking a tightrope, I think of the flying Walendas.
Except the ones that didn't make it.
Except for the ones that didn't make it. Josh, I'm gonna ask you to put your antennas up here. Because we never got to Nebraska baseball yesterday.
All right.
Who lost 2 out of 3 over the weekend to USC. They are 2-7 in Big Ten play. They
still
are
holding out hope they're going to host a regional, everybody?
They are. I think that dream is dead. They are 16th out of 17 in the Big Ten Conference.
Goo!
At the moment. There's one team in Ohio State who doesn't have any Big Ten wins at this exact moment. So,
idiots.
A note, it is early. There have been 9 games played, but you're kind of almost halfway through the slate. So I think it's a good time to take stock of where things are at. And here's where the stock is sitting at the moment. The Nebraska baseball stonk at the moment. It's pretty low, Josh. Obviously, it wasn't in the plans to lose your ace for the season.
Sure.
But here are some statistics. Offensively, they are bottom 30 in the country in walks. So there's 300 college baseball teams that are ranked in this that input stats correctly and things. So we're looking at 300 teams, basically. They're bottom 30 in the country in walks offensively, so they don't walk. They're bottom 40 in the country in batting average, so they don't get hits. They are bottom 15 in the country in on-base percentage, so they don't get on base. And they are near or at the bottom of the Big Ten in every offensive statistical category at this point. Once again, it is nearly April. The regular season only lasts through like the second or third week in May before it's all said and done. So there's not
21 conference games left.
21 conference games left. You've played 9, so you're almost half. 21 left.
Correct.
Not 21 total. So you're a third of the way done, basically, at this point. It has not been a good start. They have been bad. And yes, the dream of hosting a regional is dead. And I'd like to pose a question. Do we have serious problems here? This is not really this is not really acceptable. And this has been I know they won the Big Ten tournament last year, but it feels like we're talking about this more often than not, about how the offense just doesn't work. They strike out too much. They don't get on base enough. It's not an aesthetically pleasing product to watch, right? Like, and the team's not designed that way. The team is designed in the ideology of Will Bolt, where you're trying to grind out at bats and you're trying to be tough and you're trying to, really, and there has been a few times this year where Nebraska baseball has really been locked into that approach and that game plan, most notably against good teams. So it's there, it exists. And in all the other games, it doesn't seem like they can really flip that switch. It seems at this point. So if they missed the Big Ten tournament, that'd be the second time in 3 seasons where they would have missed the Big Ten baseball tournament. Or second time in 4, maybe. But this is not good. This is not good, Josh.
They started the year ranked. People forget. They really went out and challenged themselves in the non-con.
Yeah.
So I will allow a little grace
Of course.
in the non-con.
You look at that 2-7 in the Big Ten, you're like, oh my.
Boy. Now you did play the West Coast schools. The West Coast schools pretty decent at baseball. Didn't think you dropped 2 of 3 to Washington, but here we are.
On your home field.
Boy, you really got to go on a tear after the Oregon State series and the 2 in-staters that follow that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's a capable group. I think it lacks maybe some of the star power that you always kind of have a guy or two in the lineup who you're like, oh, that guy's going to be like an all Big Ten caliber player. That guy's going to be a draft pick or whatever it might be. And you probably don't have that, or those guys aren't quite up to snuff so far this year. But people to sort of put their antennas up here. And Josh is an enjoyer of canceling things.
I don't know if enjoyer is the right word, but I understand what you're getting
He
at.
is a common canceller of things. How close are we? If 10 is full canceled and 0 is I'm not concerned at all.
Look, I'm going to put
Mr. Herbie Husker over there on the screen. What do you...
That's right. The guy wearing a Nebraska shirt, unlike you, on the Creighton payroll.
Well, what can I say?
I care deeply about this state.
Hey, I just looked at the stats and they told me a story that I did not want to hear.
I'm going to put this at an 8.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
I mean, I'm willing to give grace to this Oregon State series coming up because, my God. And then you got Creighton and Omaha. I mean, feel free to sweep Rutgers the weekend after that.
Yeah.
And show me something.
So last year, obviously, they went to a regional, won the Big Ten tournament. The year before that, they didn't make the NCAA tournament, but they made the Big Ten tournament. Year before that, they did not make the Big Ten tournament. Year before that, they won the Big Ten and went to the regional and pushed Arkansas. And the year before that was the COVID year. And so basically this is Bolt's 5th season. And even though it's his 6th, I guess, technically on the record, because the 2020 season they did play 15 games that year before it got banged in the middle of a Columbia game, I think, that year. But I don't know, like when you put the whole product together, it's not necessarily what you want right now. So yeah, something's got to change in a hurry. I think if it goes on like this, you got to ask some questions.
Yeah, there would be some hard conversations in those buildings if you missed the conference tournament
again for the second time in 4 years. Triple B writes in.
Hi, Triple B.
He is.
I ordered a shirt from them a few weeks ago.
Which one?
The Bring Back Rock and Roll Runza T-shirt. Right. I loved that place.
Good job by you. He clicked on our content on Twitter and said, "The content is making me sad. Please stop."
Oh,
no.
Should we talk about football?
Nope. I mean, we only have probably like a minute left in this segment, but so Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
He's got his antennas up as well. Let's be clear. Josh enjoys canceling Nebraska sports.
As opposed to
the only one available for canceling.
Man, I'm not going to cancel Creighton, who's tops in the Big East.
Oh, wow.
Do I need to bring up Omaha baseball?
So here's what happens in baseball. The local teams will start playing each other, and nothing grinds anyone's gears, whether it's inside of those clubhouses or inside of the universities or fan bases, when they lose to, if you're Creighton, if you lose to Omaha and Nebraska, or if you're Nebraska, you lose to Omaha and Creighton. They haven't had a great track record of success there. Nebraska hasn't over the last couple of years. So I'm just preparing you for this conversation that is absolutely going to happen. Creighton and Omaha play each other tonight. Nebraska and Creighton play each other for the first time next Tuesday, and then they'll play 3 times in a month, right? So it's gonna start heating up pretty quick. That's all I'm saying.
I would also argue in that same vein, Nebraska plays K-State tonight.
Yes, who is good.
Omaha and Creighton beat K-State.
There would be some things said after the game if Nebraska loses.
Yes.
Which they have already lost to Kansas State so far this season. Yeah. So, just watch out. Watch out.
I don't like what I see.
That's your Nebraska baseball check-in, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for the 11 o'clock hour. Coming up next with a little portal watch. Let's go back to basketball with our local teams. Nobody's in the portal from either Creighton or Nebraska yet. But so we'll take a look at what might happen and what needs to happen for those two teams as they begin their off seasons. I guess Nebraska hasn't begun their off season yet.
That's right. They're still playing.
They're still playing.
Imagine not playing basketball right now.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
We are off into the Savory 16 of the Omaha Food Fight presented by Union Bank and Trust. And once again, the field will cut in half after voting on Wednesday. So through Wednesday is the Savory 16. And then we're on to the I always wanted to call it, they bounced this off me a couple times, and I was like, we should call it the Eat 8 because that's stupid and funny.
It's almost elite.
We went with the Edible 8. It's probably better, to be honest with you. The Edible 8 will be the next round, and that voting will run from Thursday through the end of the weekend. Vote for your favorite restaurants. It's very easy. 1620thezone.com, and see if you can get your favorite to the Foodie 4. Big Wigs, Blue Bloods at the top right now of the Omaha Food Fight presented by Union Bank and Trust.
It's going down.
I got a couple comments here on baseball that I want to get to. But first, very surprising news from the transfer portal of college basketball. Bennett Sturtz, the Drake star. Say Drake.
Love the Drake.
Bennett Sturtz will enter the transfer portal. I wonder what he'll do.
I'm intrigued.
He will be following Ben McCollum to Iowa.
Whoa.
That's already.
You think so?
I mean, that's already in the tweet from Jeff Goodman.
Do not contact?
I would assume he has a do not contact. You know, somebody tweeted out last night, I think it was Norlander, that people are using the no contact tag in the portal now as a differently than it was initially intended, right? The do not contact tag is like, hey, don't talk to me because I kind of know where I'm going. Like, don't blow up my phone. Now it is being
playing on my phone.
It is being used as do not contact. Instead, hit up my agent.
I got an agent. You don't have to talk to
me. Hit up my agent. I just don't need to deal with any of this. He'll field all the offers, or she'll field all the offers, and then we will whatever gets to me gets to me. But don't talk to me. Do not contact, and we'll go from there.
What a time to be an agent.
What a time to be an agent. They're getting some pretty hefty percentages from all the reporting that is out there as well.
And it's a dumb 18-year-old. You can tell them whatever. I charge 29%. That's a totally normal rate.
I mean, Josh, if you're in the portal, I don't know, like if I'm a kid, I'm 20 years old. I'm in the transfer portal. Let's say the stock is high. I've just won the Summit League Player of the Year. I'm Oscar Clough or something like whatever it might be. Are you willingly giving an agent 20% of whatever you get in the portal? Let's just say that's a number. 20% of whatever you get in the portal just to field texts for you? Like, I don't know. If I'm 20 years old, I'm loving the texts. Like, text me all day long, baby.
I'm stupidly going to think that I can. I could do that.
This is my life. This is my job. I'm enjoying this. And
how many people could possibly reach out?
Might I end up not getting the best deal for myself from a monetary perspective because of what the agent provides for me and the ability to like take an offer and then sell it to another program? Sure, I might be giving up some money there, but like I want to deal with my own crap. That's just me. But maybe it's just maybe it's just cool to have an agent.
Oh.
You know?
Sure.
I kind of want to have an agent, but I don't want to give my agent any money. Is there something where that could happen?
I mean, like a mom or a dad or a trusted family member, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think they would know what they would, they would have to be qualified.
Sure.
They would have to know what they were doing, right? Know the market, know the value, things like that. You would have to feel comfortable with them representing you. That's the other thing. How comfortable can these people really feel about these other people representing them who maybe they've just met them for the first time? It's a wild world. Wild, wild world out there. Okay, so before we jump back into the transfer portal, by the way, Platcat says, I'll be Happer's agent pro bono. I would actually trust Platcat.
I would.
I would say this guy gets it. He knows what's going on. And I'd be comfortable with Platcat speaking for me. He knows where my head's at. He's on top of it.
Similar sensibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. But we got a couple comments on baseball. Here's RDJ fan on YouTube.
Hi, RDJ fan.
What does RDJ stand for, Josh?
Roll damn Jays.
Roll damn Jays. You're missing an MF.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Let's just keep talking about Nebraska baseball every day, all day, and never talk about CU baseball. For the record, that was the first time we've talked about Nebraska baseball on the show for any length of more than 10 seconds for, I think, the entire season. For the record.
If the team rallying to beat Vanderbilt after the unfortunate passing of Greg Sharp doesn't count as a baseball story.
There you go. The second time, maybe.
Kind of do you count that as a baseball story?
If you're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
We can talk about, I'd be happy to talk about Creighton baseball. I've seen all the Creighton baseball home games this year and many of the away games.
6-1 at home.
They're doing a nice job.
You don't just walk into the Chuck and walk out with a win.
Yeah. They're the thing for them is getting the pitching healthy enough to where they don't feel like they're constantly piecing it together. You want to know why they've had success in the midweeks over the last 2 years is, in my opinion, this is because they, even on the weekends, they are constantly piecing together, inning by inning. Who's hot? Who can get me outs today? Who's going to step up above what we would normally expect from them? And you're dealing with that all the time. Well, on the weekends, that doesn't happen to most teams because they have a definitive Friday night starter, a definitive Saturday night starter, a definitive Sunday afternoon starter. I guess if you're lucky, you have all three of those people. But most teams have like their Friday night go-to. Creighton has had a lot of injuries. I mean, Cancelleri, their Friday night guy over the last 2-3 seasons, was missed half of last season with an injury. He's just working his way back now. He pitched 2 innings, and now 4 innings, so he's getting closer. That's a guy that you could trust. Eli Nissen went out before the season. He was supposed to be a weekend rotation guy. Pino is still on the shelf as of right now. Shea Wentz is on the shelf. So like they have some injuries. They're trying to piece it together. It should get better as the season goes along. You got to find a way to get more consistent production out of your offense. Like just consistency generally is the key for that team. But can you put it together on a 1-game slate in the midweek when you're playing a good team? Absolutely. Don't count them out for that. From my eyes, it looks like a pretty solid baseball team. There's your Creighton baseball analysis. There's your Creighton baseball analysis, or at least some of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. They seem to be able to win baseball games in a few different ways. They won a 1-0 game. They've won some higher scoring games.
I think Sunday at the Chuck was a bit of an outlier given the gale force winds coming out of the north. But they did get a couple clutch home runs from Will McLean and Teddy Dieters back to back in the 6th of a 7-inning game there. You want the guy we talk about with Nebraska, like the guy in the middle of the lineup, like that they just kind of don't have. Nolan Sailors is probably the best player, one of the 3 best players in the Big East. So like you're going to have that. He's a fantastic defender. He's hitting like 430 right now. Like he hits a little bit of power. Like he's the heartbeat of what they do. So when you have that guy, he could take you some distance. Creighton baseball tonight on 1180 The Zone against the Mavericks at 5:00 with me and Glenn Sisk.
Glenn Sisk on the call.
Glenn Sisk.
Hopefully he gets to stay in the booth the whole game.
Hopefully nobody gets run out of the game. That's right. So he doesn't have to perform administrative duties. All right. To the portal. To the portal we go. Like I said, nobody in the portal from either Nebraska nor Creighton yet. You never know. This entire segment will come with the caveat of you never know. Okay? So I want to say that up front. I don't want you to go tell your friends or tell the internet. Connor Happer said nobody's leaving. Connor Happer did not say that. Connor Happer said you never know. Do not tell the internet that I said anything different than what I'm saying. I can't imagine that either team will lose much outside of maybe some organizational depth, as you would call it in baseball, right? Like guys who are borderline rotational players or projects and
He
things
averaged
like that.
4 minutes a game.
Right. Like I can't imagine there will be much of that. I mean, obviously for Creighton, you wonder about guys like Mason Miller and Fred King and what that is going to look like going forward. But like, here's just to set the scene, just to lay this out. Here's what we know. For Creighton, Ashworth, Neal, and Kalkbrenner are gone. There's no more eligibility, sadly. I hate to close the book on eligibility questions,
And
Josh.
you're sure on this?
I hate to close the book on eligibility questions, but I do believe that it's set in stone.
Okay.
At this point, Ashworth, Neal, and Kalkbrenner will not be playing college basketball anymore. Starting next season. For Nebraska, Williams, Gary, Raleigh Wooster, Andrew Morgan, Aaron Eulis, Braxton Mia, they're all out of eligibility as well. So that's a bigger crowd there for the Nebraska older guys. For Nebraska, rotational pieces that are expected back. These are guys who played relatively significant minutes who are expected back. Once again, expected back. Connor Esesian, Sam Hoiberg, Berke Bukhtangel, and then Rink Mast, right? Like
They put him in a graphic.
he says he's back. By the way, I love that. I love the new trend in college basketball where 700 people went in the portal on day one, and we're all numb to this by now. But it's actually a really good idea because you are making nobody has to wonder. You're making your intentions known. Mm-hmm. Hey, nobody really thought that Rick Mast was going to leave, but just so everybody knows, I am indeed going to be on the team next year. You should do a graphic if you're coming back.
You should fax radio stations. Just 2 words, I'm back.
But you don't want to be held to something that you can't guarantee at the end of the day, because who knows what kind of offer comes in. As we said earlier, these people have agents, Josh. That's agents right. Are always taking calls. Always taking calls. For Creighton, rotational pieces that are coming back: Jason Green, Jackson McAndrew, Fedor Zugic, Ty Davis, Isaac Trout, and then Pop Isaacs, and we'll see what happens there. And then Fred King, who has a kind of a question mark next to his name, sort of as well.
That would be one that I'm eyeballing.
And I didn't even put Mason on here. I should have, but I don't know. It didn't. Feels like a fresh start might be good for him.
Is Uncle still there?
Well, he's now the head coach at Murray State.
That's right.
Yeah. So no would be the answer to that.
Nothing keeping him here anymore, I guess, is my larger point.
Right. So where do each of these teams stand going into the transfer portal? And really, the takeaway is the same takeaway as it's going to be every year now in perpetuity until something else changes. You have to you have to find the person on your current roster carried over from the last roster that you feel like is the piece that is going to be with you for multiple years, that you feel like you can build around, right? Known commodities are really important in college basketball. Really, really important. Consistency is huge. Known commodities are really important. Can Creighton build a team around Jackson McAndrew and Fedor Zugic and Jason Green? That's a really good start, in my opinion. I think it's a.
What do you think about that? Just out of curiosity,
can they do that?
Yeah, is that enough?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, they'd all need to take jumps.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jackson is going to be a really, really good player.
Yeah, seems that way.
And Fedor too. If he stays healthy and continues to get more comfortable, and he'll have more ownership over it. And Ty Davis, will factor more into the rotation for the Jays next year. And then you have Jason Green as a piece who's really versatile and can kind of do whatever is asked. It's a great place to start. So even though they lose Kalkbrenner and Ashworth and Neal, which is like 75% of their production, for maybe more, from this year, scoring, rebound, whatever, all of their block shots probably, you still are left with a pretty good base, which, is a testament to just the timing. And then, getting a couple good recruits in the class. You're not going to have Larry Johnson, who left, kind of before the season started, but that class of Jackson and Ty and Fedor, who counts there now. I mean, that's a really good thing to go off of. It's a good place to start. So can you build around those pieces? Yeah, I think you can. Not to say that you're going to take somebody in the portal who is lesser than because you think it's just going to run through Jackson, right? Like you get or Fedor, you get the best players that you could possibly get based on the relationships that you have and the money that you could pay and all of those things. But you have a good base to go off of. You have something where, at the very least, there's your floor, which is a pretty good one, in my opinion. For Nebraska, it's a little bit different. I don't think you could build a team around Connor Essegian or Sam Hoiberg. They're really good rotational, or Burke, for that matter. I think they're all – Mass is maybe a different story. I don't know what he's going to look like after missing an entire year, right? But that's a really good piece to start with. And then you have rotational pieces back. But odds are that Nebraska is going to have to find its leading scorer in the transfer portal. My guess would be that Creighton probably has to find its leading scorer in the transfer portal too. But once again, you're sort of at the mercy of what you can get, how much flexibility. Like with Nebraska, I just see, because of what they lost, a little bit less flexibility. Like when you're in the portal, it's all a market, right? So it's who you can get, the level of player you can get, and if you feel like you have your hooks in, how far can we go? How far can we take this? How badly, Matt Rule said the desperate team set the market, right? And I think he's right about that. And I think, frankly, Nebraska was a little bit of a desperate team as far as the offensive line was concerned this offseason. So I think he was kind of saying that about his own team in a certain respect. But, and Nebraska could say, look at what we did with 2 years of Bryce Williams and 3 years of Juwan Gary. Bryce Williams was first team all Big Ten player. He came from Charlotte. You can come into Nebraska and we will give you the keys to what we're doing and we'll build an offense around you. And that's a really good selling point for a guy who wants to make a jump from the mid-major level to the high major level and play in the Big Ten. And Bryce Williams proved that he could do it. Maybe I don't think Bryce is like a one of one. He's a really good player, but I don't think he's a one of one. Like there's some Bryce Williams out there. And so Nebraska can use that as a selling point for what they do in the transfer portal this offseason. And they have an okay base to sort of build around as well. It'll be fascinating to see, because I think in the early portions of the portal, you're just out there sort of like, putting feelers. Obviously, you have an idea of who's going to be available. But you're out there kind of putting feelers out, and, you're, as a coach, you're probably looking at it, okay, if we do this, then you're Dennis Rodman in The Last Stand. If he do this, then I do this. If he does this, and then I do this. Like what permutation of whatever basketball team we're going to have, does this look like? And I think, frankly, Nebraska and Creighton both have things, in Omaha for that matter, they both have things that they could sell to kids who are in the transfer portal to say, here's a place where you can come and here's a place where you can have success. For Creighton, it's their developmental track record. And for Nebraska, it's their ability to empower guys who they've gotten in the transfer portal, like James Palmer, like Isaac Copeland, like Williams and Gary, to empower those guys and have them be the sort of culture setters in the program and have them be sort of the leading scorers in what you do. People with the basketball in their hand and dictating how things are going to go. So if you're Nebraska, and if you're Creighton for that matter as well, you have to be careful with the type of players that you're bringing into your program, because that you're going to be handing over the keys to them a little bit, at least in some regard. So that's sort of the outlook in what you're looking at. As far as specific players, we are also in the stage right now of everybody's in the transfer portal, and anytime anyone goes into the transfer portal, you're looking at them and you're saying, that guy could play for my team.
Eyeballs, eyeball emoji, question mark.
That guy could play for my team. I think that would be a pretty good idea. I think we should get that guy.
Gotta be a good fit.
Right. Couple comments from you all. Here's Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
If Hoiberg doesn't land a legit point guard, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yes.
I hope Jeff doesn't lose his mind.
I hope he doesn't either. I know I'm kind of like producer Josh hates Nebraska ball. I just want them to be a competent basketball team.
Yeah, I think they need. See, that's the thing though. Like, I don't want to get for both of these teams. I don't think you pigeonhole yourself into saying like this is the exact archetype of a player that we need, right? Because both of them are blank enough slates where you shouldn't be looking at it as we're going to put that guy into the Bryce Williams spot and have him be Bryce Williams. Like, you can have different options and you can be different. And frankly, Nebraska and Creighton, Creighton is a little bit different over the last couple of years because they've had Kalkbrenner and they knew that they were going to build, whatever they got around him. And they went through a really successful run of whether it was getting guys out of the portal like Baylor or, having really good recruiting classes that stuck around for a year or 2 years or 3 years. In the case of like Trey Alexander, like you kind of had some more pieces and more known commodities to kind of build around at that point. But I don't think that you should pigeonhole yourself. So yes, you want a guy who can handle the basketball and can be a scoring threat for you as well. But like, you don't have to say, hey, let's make him be the exact archetype of whatever player has come in the past. Like the conversation of that happened, that cropped up this year with Nebraska was something along the lines of like Hoiberg needs a post spreader, right? Because they all
need a post spreader.
They had success with Walker and they had success with Mass. Like, they need a guy who could distribute what if they just redistributed the way that they distributed the ball? You know what I mean? Like, what if they had the way it was set up last year wasn't necessarily a horrible thing. You just needed another guy that could handle the ball.
Right.
And potentially get to the basket. But having Bryce be your like primary number one alpha scorer, like that's not something that's uncommon in college basketball. So like, I'm not advocating for them to not take a true point guard, but keep in mind, everybody wants a true point guard. Everybody want that guy.
I would just like to not do the 6 weeks of shows where it's like, I think this roster's weird, guys.
No.
Like somewhere in between.
I'm sorry. We're doing that 6 weeks.
Ah, damn it.
We're doing that 6 weeks. And I think we're doing it for both teams.
Okay. I don't know if this is going to come together.
We did it with Creighton last year.
We did. We absolutely did.
So there's also like, okay, what can you get? What are you able to get? What are you able to pay for?
That's so much of it.
And then what do you actually end up with on your roster? Do you get some good luck, like Fedor becoming eligible around New Year? If you're Creighton, so there's a little luck that goes into it. And also, most importantly, how are you able to adapt given the roster that you have? How adaptable are you? And can you become the best version of yourself given the roster that you have? Neither of these teams are going to have the best rosters in the country or in their conferences. It's going to be too hard for them to do that. So,
but
what
if Creighton can get an upper hand on UConn because UConn can't make the postseason? That would help Creighton.
Is UConn going to get suspended from the postseason?
That could be one of the punishments for their thing that happened over the weekend.
I don't think
that's not gonna happen. By the way, everybody,
I don't think Dan Hurley would quit.
Oh yeah, he would. Oh yeah, I'm taking the Wolves coaching job.
What's that, Lakers? You're interested again? Yeah. All right. So there's a little outlook as we embark on portal season for our local basketball programs. And remember, Nebraska is still playing, folks.
That's right. They don't have time for portal.
What content will they do with Lil Red or Herbie in Vegas?
You got to put Lil Red in the fountains, right? Or no, I guess whatever.
You can't put Lil Red in the Bellagio fountains.
These have got to be MGM properties.
Bellagio's an MGM property.
Okay.
Yes.
So we could put Lil Red in the fountain.
Well, I mean, if you want to dismantle it's kind of sacrilegious.
Oh, okay. We don't go in the fountain.
Is the only thing that goes in the fountain is the NFL draft and that F1 race.
Okay.
How about on the roller coaster in New York, New York? Right across the bridge.
Yes.
MGM property.
Uh-huh.
You got to put Lil Red on that roller coaster.
I like that.
Okay.
That.
Look, you get Herbie, you get Wildy Cat from Villanova, you get the demon, the devil from DePaul.
They all ride.
Yeah. They all ride the roller coaster together.
Uh-huh.
What if they all hit the slots? What if they all hit the tables?
You got to take a picture of them all at a card table with a crown in the middle or something.
It's funny they don't like at these tournaments that are all like that are all created by gambling institutions, like gambling companies.
They really don't acknowledge it.
They don't talk about the gambling.
No.
I'd be sitting the mascots down at the penny slots and just ripping off, little Buffalo.
Uh-huh.
Buffalo. If they did Herbie sitting at the Buffalo machine, that would be the greatest piece of content to ever come out of Nebraska history.
I mean, can we
mark my words?
Can we get like the Trojan buying a lady of the night?
Okay.
What? No, I'm just saying.
Maybe. You never know. It's Vegas, Josh.
The Butler Bulldog at a vape shop.
It's Vegas. It's Vegas. All right. We'll be back with Allan Bell coming up after this on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Bling, ching, bling, bling. We're joined by Allan Bell of Driving the Line right now on the hotline. AB, hello. How are you?
Hello, Con, sir. Doing fantastic. You doing all right?
Good. How was the weekend of hoops? Were you mad like everybody else that there were not so many upsets or buzzer beaters?
No, man. Look, I'll say this. I love the NCAA tournament every time it comes around, and it's consistent, but it's always different. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, whatever we get, we get. And, sometimes you have a ton of upsets. Sometimes you're not. But that's all about it, man. Like, that's what makes it fun. It delivers, dude. Like, I think it's the only thing in sports. Like, I remember being, in high school filling out brackets, in college with your buddies filling out for, like, it kind of goes with us through life. Not to make this sentimental, but I just love it, man. It's awesome.
It is fantastic. And it's just because we don't get buzzer beaters or huge upsets over the first weekend, and we don't have any weirdo teams from a conference you've never heard of in the Sweet 16, doesn't mean it's time to overreact and say that college sports are dying. In my opinion.
Agreed. And you know what? Like, I'll say this. So when you compare it to the NFL playoffs, right? Like, my favorite round is the divisional round because you get great games across the board. And I feel that same way about this weekend. The Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight, I don't want any fluky teams. Give me good basketball teams and good games, and it always delivers. Like, this is my favorite weekend.
Is there anything you like whether it's in the individual games or national championship? Like, this is probably, before the Sweet 16, it's probably your last best chance to get some halfway decent odds if you got to beat on somebody who's going to win the national championship. Is there anything you like on the board out there right now?
It is. I'll say this. Just go ahead and book Duke in Florida in the national championship. I don't know if Duke is beatable, to be completely honest with you. They've covered 10 straight games when Cooper Flagg is healthy. This guy's unbelievable. And then you look at Florida, like, winning that game as they did, teams in any sport, when it's a travel and you get to prepare and come back, they usually hammer everyone along the way. Like, I don't mean to put any other teams down, but Florida and Duke, man, like, these two teams, they're for real, very for real.
Okay, so here's a way that you could do it, because I've been on Houston for like half of the year now.
They're great, yeah.
They're so good, and they would play each other. Duke and Houston would play each other in the Final Four. So go heavy on Duke if you think it's going to be Duke, and then sprinkle a little bit on Houston, who's plus 550 right now to win the national championship. Obviously, you come up empty if you don't sprinkle a little bit on Florida, who's plus 430 at the moment. But I'm generally with you. Like, you look at those 3-1 seeds right now, they look tough to beat by anybody else who's not in their same weight class.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'll say this: if you're looking for something to bet in the Sweet 16 round, take Kentucky plus 4.5. Do they beat Tennessee and win the game? I don't know. But
you love fading Tennessee. It's your favorite thing.
In the NCAA tournament, man, look, I love Rick Barnes. He wins a lot of games, but dude, the pressure, he feels it. And Kentucky's beaten Tennessee twice already, all right? And again, you're getting points with Kentucky. I'm not saying that Kentucky wins outright. They might, they could. But plus 4.5, like, it's going to be a tight game. Yeah, take Kentucky with the points there.
How about, as it is baseball eve, I assume you're doing your full season baseball show at some point over the next couple days. What are you looking at as far as MLB futures? Are you a big futures player, by the way, like, anyway?
A little bit, right? Like, baseball, not really, because there's a lot of things that can happen.
Definitely.
And it's a long season. But, when you have teams like the Dodgers out there, like, look, I'm not saying play them to win the World Series. I'm also not saying do that. You know what I mean? But, like, baseball's tough. Like, college football is good for futures. Even college basketball. Major League Baseball can get weird, man. Weird. Like, look what we're seeing already with Mookie Betts. And I'm not sure what's going on with him. And
he's lost like 30 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, it's scary, man. Like, and again, I'm not saying it in jest. I'm saying baseball's weird, and it's a long, long season, man, and just weird stuff can happen.
Okay, so that's a good point. And not only weird stuff can happen, but yes, that is definitely weird with Mookie Betts. But baseball's such a long season that I mean, your money is tied up if you're doing a future for so long. It's just a hard thing for people to rationalize to themselves.
It is. You're better off just going down to, a bank and getting a savings account. You know what I mean? At that point, like,
right.
Just get the interest. Yeah, I mean, you're right on that, and that's a long time, to be holding your money around.
We look forward to Josh's pick for the AL Cy Young Award winner, as he nailed it last year, of course, with Tarek Skubal. So whatever Josh says goes, we'll send that to you for.
Yeah, text that.
He's got the beat on it, of course, for baseball futures. You were tweeting, so we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show. But you were tweeting about the PR situation that UConn has found themselves in, a nightmare. But as their own, it's their own doing, their own unraveling here. But you know what you're talking about on this stuff. How do you parse through this entire deal with UConn and Dan Hurley and the SID and the reporter who got this on video from a place apparently where he wasn't supposed to be?
Yeah. I mean, first off, you can't be sending threats, right? Like, that's not a good look. And
not good.
The next PR statement that guy releases is his own firing, because, as Chris Starter said, for Hurley, that's your fall guy right there, buddy. That handles that PR situation. It's just not a good look. And I'll be honest, man, the more I see of Danny Hurley, the less I want to. He's becoming very annoying, man. Like, he's a heck of a coach. Might be the best in the country, but he's wearing on me, man. And I'm sure he's wearing on a lot of people there today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like, he just, he's if you get him outside of like the in-game situation, he seems like a pretty, agreeable, like normal person. But if you get him, tied up in the immediacy of after a win or after a loss, I mean, things have gone. And now the cameras are on him because they know he's going to do something or say something. Like, he walked off the court in Omaha and was shouting at fans after they won here a couple months ago and said 2 rings Baldy. He's yelling at a guy in the stands, and it's just like, he can't help himself in these regards.
No, and it's going to cost him because, look, dude, like, I don't care how good you are. You're never going to outlive when you wear on people. And I guarantee there are people in Connecticut that he's wearing on. You're not going to win a title every year. Look, I go back to, like, Mark Mangino, man, at Kansas. Like, he was wearing on people, and that dude was winning games, son. You know what I mean? But, like, it reaches a point where it's like, this is too much. I just cannot deal with this, So good luck on that. It rarely ever works out.
All right, AB, we'll let you go. Always good to catch up. Enjoy the weekend of hoops, and we'll do it again next week.
Look forward to it, my man. Take care, buddy.
Allan Bell of Driving the Line. You can check out his stuff there or on Twitter at Allan G. Bell. So he's always good for a few late night like rants, every now and then.
That, and he's gotten really into the weather of college baseball. Like, and I'm sure he'll do it with MLB.
I figured we'd skip college baseball this week because we always do it with him, but yes.
But I mean, like, the wind, like, he knows the layouts of the stadium, like, wind's blowing out all weekend at the box. Like,
I should have got him on that Creighton game on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Gets the ballpark. I'm like, I know this isn't a park where you really expect many runs, but there's going to be some balls flying over the fence. And there was. I think there was 4 in that game, maybe 3. So, yes.
That's enough.
It is plenty for a baseball game at TD, not TD, Charles Schwab Field in Omaha.
People forget.
Yeah. All right. Josh will bring you the odd news when we come back, as Matt Rule has begun to speak. He's saying things.
Is Matt McMaster asked Matt Rule a question?
I don't know. I'm not watching it live. I'm just seeing the words.
Okay.
So we'll watch back afterwards to see if to grade Matt's question. Back with the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host point is good. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right. Push back the odd news. We just got regular news.
Oh, okay.
The college basketball crown.
You know, the crown.
The crown. They will be awarding NIL money to the finalists of the tournament.
$500,000.
$500,000. The runner-up gets an extra $100,000. The winner gets an extra. Okay, hold on. Image like this pool that will reward the championship team with a $300 NIL package. The runner-up will receive a $100,000 package, while the $50,000 package will go to semifinalists through a new venture labeled as the Vivid Seats Ambassador Program. All right.
Sure.
Fred Hoiberg has a quote.
Oh.
Anytime you have a chance to compete for a championship, there's definitely a benefit for your program. Our guys were unanimous about going out and playing, and that's a good sign for everything you have going with the culture of your program and when guys want to play and together compete. We've had the opportunity to have some high-level practices in preparation for the crown. I've been impressed with the effort the crown has put into making this a first-class event for the teams in Vegas. We're looking forward to going out and playing.
Best week of practice.
There you go. There's some money on the line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Josh, now the odd news.
Odd news, we go to Boston, where a 19-year-old from Pennsylvania finds himself in a bunch of legal trouble after he went to an Urban Outfitters and handed the lady working the register or man, I don't know, a yellow Starburst wrapper. On the back of that yellow Starburst wrapper was a bomb threat.
Whoa.
Lucas Lembeck was arrested soon after the bomb threat Tuesday afternoon. According to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, he admitted to passing a note to someone on a yellow Starburst wrapper in a prank that was meant to be funny. Lembeck admitted, quote, "It was dumb," and was arrested on a charge of bomb/hijack threat.
Oh, so he didn't even mean it?
No.
That's a really, really not well thought through plan.
No. The person who called police officers told the officers they were shopping, that the suspect was shopping when a stranger approached and said, "It's National Starburst Day. I want you to have this," and slid the yellow Starburst wrapper across the counter. On the back was written, quote, "I have a bomb. Don't say a bleeping word."
Wow. You can't do that.
No. Especially in Boston.
What was the end goal?
I don't know.
Jeez.
He said he thought it would be funny.
No, wrong. Not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny.
Only funny now that you got arrested and everyone knows what an idiot you are.
Ugh.
Now,
Yikes.
that's kind of funny, I guess. We go to Portland for more pressing matters. Truck spill of the week, Connor.
Okay.
2 cars either road raging or playing in the lane to the left, commonly referred to as the left lane.
Yep.
Caused a 53-foot box trailer filled with 28,000 pounds of, it is a food product, as it usually is, on the truck spill of the week.
And located where again?
We're in Portland, Oregon.
Portland. Food in Portland.
I don't know how specific to the city this food is. It's a
kale.
It's that's good for Portland. It's a worldwide food. People love it.
Hemp.
These are good guesses for Portland.
Yeah.
Rose petals.
Nice. What is it?
Ice cream. 28,000 pounds of ice cream.
Oh, that's horrible. What kind?
Maybe we'll get to that.
Birthday cake?
The 53-foot box trailer lost control and flipped into a ditch along I-5.
Peanut butter cup?
The truck driver not hurt in the incident. Investigators say a black Honda and a blue Mustang were the cars involved in the, I don't know, I guess horseplay in the lane to the left.
Maybe it was an ice cream heist gone wrong.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to reenact like, hey, let's do Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Get some of those DVD, VCR combo players. Tow truck was called to the scene. I don't have the flavor. I'm sorry.
Ouch.
Well,
be cool.
It would.
It was cookies and cream.
We go to England, jolly old England, across the pond.
Cookies and cream.
Where Paul Broom, 55 years young.
Janai Broom?
No. Paul Broom.
Okay.
Recently laid to rest. And if you're watching along with us on Zone TV, just going to throw his coffin up on the screen there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a...
That's a long coffin.
It is a long coffin. How would you describe this coffin to the radio audience, Connor?
I would say that it looks like a Snickers wrapper.
That's right.
Instead of Snickers, it says, I'm nuts.
They did a good job with this coffin.
I mean, I don't know. Like, is this... I suppose it brings an air of... It lightens the air.
There's some levity to the situation,
yeah,
right?
I guess, and I suppose that's a positive quality.
But at a certain point, I got to stare at that for 30 minutes and like hold it together.
And you do want to, I just think funerals are sad. Like I don't feel like that's that hot of a take. I feel like funerals are sad for a reason.
Poll question: are funerals sad?
And they should probably stay that way. But it definitively not sad when you walk in and the coffin is decorated in a Snickers wrapper.
Broom often joked about, hey, I'm going to have a Snickers themed coffin at my funeral. His family decided, well, I mean, he always talked about it. Let's do it.
Yeah. He can't do anything about it now. He's dead.
Paul's family informed the funeral parlor that he was one of life's true characters and his farewell needed to reflect that. His quick wit and sense of humor touched so many people, and the coffin was a fitting tribute to his unique personality.
At what age was
55?
That's too young.
It is.
That's too young to have a Snickers wrapped coffin.
Okay.
It's too young to have a Snickers wrapped coffin. If you're 96, then you could have a Snickers wrapped coffin.
That's the cutoff?
Well, because I just feel like, all right, this is weird, but like the older you get, the less sad it is, the less surprising it is.
Okay.
Everybody grieves in different ways, obviously, but like chances are Paul died in some unexpected manner.
Yeah, 55, a little surprising.
Whether it was an illness or some sort of an incident or something like that, chances are not many probably expected it. And then you go into the funeral and he's got a Snickers bar for a coffin.
The coffin on the top, I didn't get a photo of this, but I did see it. It has the logo for Crystal Palace FC, which was his favorite soccer club.
All right. Is this going to become a thing now? People are going to be decorating their coffins?
I don't think so. I mean, Kiss tried this a few years ago with like, hey, you can get a Kiss coffin. I don't know about you, Connor. I've been to quite a few funerals in my day. I've never seen a Kiss coffin in person.
No, I don't think I have either.
Nor I'd probably would turn around and walk out at that point.
I haven't really thought much about what happens with my coffin, or if there is a coffin, or I don't know. I haven't really thought about any of that stuff yet, but I don't think that I would.
You don't have your last will and testament?
I don't think so. I don't think that I would want it really decorated in any way, shape, or form.
You should do that, Connor. You have a child now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's professional advice to you.
Thank you. You're right. Who do I contact for that?
A financial advisor.
Okay. All right. I got one of those.
Okay. Do you?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. No, that's great.
Kind of.
Most people our age don't.
I'm already a step ahead, Josh.
Look at you.
I'm already a step ahead.
That's great planning on your part.
Black Cat tweets into the
Black
show. We're hearing about the ice cream truck spill. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Where?
Portland.
Portland is the answer to that question.
He does ask a question on YouTube. If your coffin had to be food themed, what would you choose, Connor?
McChicken.
Okay.
Be like my chicken wrapper.
The yellow.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And in between the wrapper and the coffin, there'd be a bunch of mayonnaise.
Just like 5% too much mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Great bit.
Yeah. I don't think I want that, but if I had to choose, it would be that.
Just the immediacy with which you came up with that answer.
McChicken. It's the best singular fast food item that we have.
It's great. Now, do you go spicy or regular?
I've just always said McChicken.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, they have a spicy McChicken.
I didn't even know that. I'm not. Yeah, I just say McChicken when I go there.
Okay. Classic McChicken. Nothing wrong with that.
The McChicken, depending on when you get it, where you go, is spicy enough.
Sure.
It's got some stuff to it. Got a little zhuzh.
Peppery.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
What a great odd news.
Mm-hmm.
What a great odd news. We'll come back. Matt Rule has commented on Dylan Raiola's weight again.
Oh, God.
He has some things he'd like to say about the reaction from last time he talked.
Oh, no.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Now, why would Stanford fire their football coach in March? Because that's
ACC.
That's something that just happened.
ACC is why you make that call.
Bleeping BCS. That's why you make that call. Andrew Luck, I believe, is in charge of all things Stanford football now.
He's the GM.
And he just fired Troy Taylor.
Seems like a bad dude, that Troy Taylor.
Yeah, there's some stuff.
Yeah.
We get some bullying going on.
Some reports, some bullying of women. Maybe don't do that. Definitely don't do that at Stanford.
Yeah, there was a report that came out a week ago from ESPN that Taylor signed a warning letter. He was warned about this on Valentine's Day of last year, acknowledging that he could be fired if the conduct continued. According to the documents, additional complaints were documented in the second investigation that ended last July. And now, today, he is fired. Andrew Luck fired him. Andrew Luck he's really in charge of Nebraska, not Nebraska football, of Stanford football. Andrew Luck said in a statement
from a Civil War battlefield,
it's been clear that certain aspects of the program need change. Additionally, in recent days, there has been significant attention to Stanford investigations in previous years related to Coach Taylor. After a continued investigation, it is evident to me that our program needs a reset. In consultation with university leadership, I no longer believe that Coach Taylor is right to lead our football program. It really is amazing. Andrew Luck is just in charge.
He's the GM.
Andrew Luck is the athletic director of Stanford football.
Sure.
That's crazy. That one kind of snuck onto the radar a little bit, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, their ACC football we don't pay much attention to. Stanford's kind of an outpost within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have certain things that they have to abide by, like school. Yeah.
Hello, Schefter. Hello.
What's Schefter doing?
Tennessee Titans will hold an additional private workout with Cam Ward.
Oh.
They like him, and it would take an even stronger package to acquire the number 1 pick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Cam Ward, number 1?
Sure seems that way.
How do you feel about that, Josh?
I don't hate it. I don't know if he's like the franchise quarterback, but
I don't know if there is one here.
Yeah.
Might not be one available.
Kind of my thoughts too.
You only get the number 1 pick so often, Josh.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
just trade it.
That Penn State kid seems to be injured, so his whole career is over.
Just trade it. Just trade it.
That is an option.
Here's a tweet from Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald, friend of the show.
The newsman.
Nebraska football coach Matt Rule said Dylan Raiola looked really good in practice Monday and Tuesday. And I've seen some video of Dylan throwing some balls in pro day. And adds that his previous comment about Raiola not being a good quarterback at 240 pounds.
Tubby.
Were not related to Dylan Raiola's actual weight. Quote, he just knows what he doesn't want to be. It doesn't mean he's that. So, Josh, I'll ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you buy it?
Well, I hate to answer Matt Rule's question with a question. Does Dylan know what he is?
Where did the 240 pounds come from?
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Like, I don't mean to get into a semantics argument, but you picked that number then. Why'd you pick that number?
So now I haven't heard the audio yet, but I'm trying to read this in a variety of different ways. So Adam Kruger writes, Rule not happy with how some media portrayed his comments about QB Dylan Raiola at his last press conference.
Just say producer Josh. It's fine, man.
Rule re-emphasizes Raiola can't play at 240 pounds, but not that he was at 240 pounds. Mitch Sherman says it this way.
Okay.
Nebraska coach Matt Rule says he did not imply 2 weeks ago that Dylan Raiola's weight was a problem. He just knows what he doesn't want to be, Rule said. To that end, Raiola, in getting ready to throw at Pro Day this morning in Lincoln, looks fit and stronger than last season. His first 2 workouts of the spring this week have been excellent. I see some video of him throwing some, walking around, strutting around at Pro Day. I'd say what?
Shirt?
Shirt.
Okay.
Looks like a cutoff hoodie with a shirt underneath.
Oh, it's cutoff hoodie season for these guys.
But not like short sleeve hoodie, like cutoff hoodie.
Sure.
Which I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, you make it.
And there's a short sleeve shirt underneath. Joggers tucked into the socks.
Weird look, but I mean that's what the kids are doing.
Yep. And is with a Gatorade in hand.
Gatorade.
And I'll tell you
That's
what,
not a football.
Amateur, my amateur eyes, he doesn't look fat to me.
Okay.
He looks like a normal boy. So, Fatgate is over.
We are
Fatgate is over.
Dangerously close to his next TikTok being him stepping on a scale. And to the haters,
Let me set the record straight.
It'll be captioned. To the haters, peace emoji.
Aaron writes in on the text line.
Hi, Aaron.
Is Dylan currently lowercase Fatrick Raiola instead of capital Fatrick?
That's an important question.
I wouldn't call him Fatrick at all.
Not to his face, no.
No, period.
Oh.
I've never said that, Josh. Don't put it on the internet that I said that. Other people said that. I didn't say it.
Retweets are not endorsements.
I just think I didn't retweet anything. I just think maybe the turtleneck that he was wearing to the basketball games.
It's unbecoming.
No, it probably just didn't help him.
Sure.
At all. And then we see him at all these basketball games and he's wearing a turtleneck, which adds 20 pounds, as everyone has always said. And then Matt Rule comes out and says, hey, he won't be a good quarterback at 240 pounds. And all of a sudden we put 2 and 2 together and we're like, whoa, he's a fatty. And
that's right.
And now Matt Rule 2 weeks later says, not so fast, my friend. Look at him. No turtleneck, not fat.
Well, it's important that we got to the bottom of this eventually. It's important.
Are we at the bottom or does it go deeper?
God, it better not go deeper than this. We said it wasn't important last time, and now we're clarifying what we meant, what we said when we said things last time.
Like I said, his body composition was that was the thing that we were worried about at first because Rule said he's got to work on his body composition. Some of this he cannot control genetically because he is the son of a giant necked offensive lineman. Some of this he cannot control.
No. Hand you're dealt.
He's a big kid. He's built like a catcher.
He was a catcher.
He was a catcher, and he's built like it. And he's not 240 pounds. Don't put it on the internet that he was 240 pounds.
The apology needs to be as strong as the disrespect. Media.
All right. I think he's okay. Are we past this? Are we past this now?
I was past it 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Corey says Dylon. Wow, we haven't called him Dylon in a long time, actually.
Dylon.
Has he graduated from Dylon?
Not yet. I need a game-winning drive.
Dylon.
He wanted a dad bod like Mahomes had last year. Well, he didn't get that haircut.
Mahomes has a weird body.
He does. He does. You could be a large. I think it's good that he's larger.
It has benefits for sure, especially big frame like his.
But all I care about is if he can slang that rock.
Yeah, is he slinging that thing?
Is he slinging that thing? That's all I care about. Dana Holgerson will have a lot to say about that. Wide receivers will have a lot to say about it too. Jeff writes in,
hi, Jeff.
I'm glad my body wasn't discussed as much as Dylon's when I was in college.
Great point.
Dylon.
Me too, Jeff. Me too. But
it's called the freshman 15, Josh.
Nobody cared what I looked like when I was in college because I wasn't slinging that thing.
That's right.
I did not have the most control over a multi-million dollar state holding industry. Certainly not as much as Dylan does at this very moment. That's why nobody cared about my body. He's just a kid. I think it's all in bounds. You know, I'm glad we'll set the record straight. He's not fat. Great. Let's move on. Spring ball's here, folks.
Spring ball. You see those guys running 40s at pro day?
I saw him. I saw him moving around. I don't think I saw anybody running 40s yet.
Some videos out there.
Really? Any? So when I used to go to pro day when I lived in Lincoln,
wow,
and it was convenient for me.
Brag.
No, not a brag at all, Josh. Actually, but when I used to feel obligated to go to pro day, and I lived in Lincoln, we would all sit up there. There's a balcony inside the Hawks Championship Center, and we would all sit up there and we would amateur time the 40s, because you don't get the times until like either you have to ask for them afterwards, or sometimes because different coaches are there from different NFL organizations, and they or scouts or whatever, and they time them the way that they time them. Sometimes they have, maybe this is before where they didn't have like the common use of the electronic stuff and whatever it is, but they're timing them. So one time I can't remember who it was, but I'm like, that dude just ran a 4.27. Put him in the NFL right now. Guy next to me, Michael Bruns is like, I think it was like a 4.6.
I think you're wrong.
All right, let's split the difference. Looks like he ran a 4.40. All right, speaking of spring ball, time to grade these numbers, Josh.
Ooh.
Are you ready for this? Newcomers.
Well, wait. Hold on.
What? The numbers should scare you.
Let me throw this out here. Should we grunt the numbers instead?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You feel free.
Now, these are new football jersey numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Here are the freshmen early enrollees, and then we'll do the transfers.
Oh, God.
This is from Michael Bruns this morning. Connor Booth, running back. Bishop Newman, 23. That's a good running back number. That's a good. It's Dante Dowdell's number from last year, but a good running back number. Yes. Jackson Carpenter, white wide receiver from Lincoln, 88.
Ooh.
You like that?
It's bold for a white guy to take that.
88. Christian Jones, linebacker, Omaha, 50. It's a good linebacker number.
Yeah.
He's the body type, though, where I wouldn't have been surprised to see him moving around in like a 9.
Oh, okay.
Or like a 4 or something like that. But, maybe those numbers are spoken for. We'll skip through. Offensive lineman, Houston Kahina Torres, 67.
Ooh,
That's a good offensive lineman number.
Yeah.
TJ Lateef, quarterback, 14.
Oh.
Dawson Merritt, linebacker, 51.
50.
Yeah, I like 51 is good. 51, 52, 50, all good linebacker numbers.
Yeah.
If you're going to go double digit. Obviously, you want a single digit.
But that's later. That's later.
All right. Cortez Mills. This is a big one.
Okay.
Cortez Mills. That guy could be on the field this year. The first number that he has been issued at Nebraska, 86.
Oh, ho, ho.
I don't like it.
86.
I disagree with your grunt. I don't like 86. I think Cortez Mills is a low number guy. I think you got to throw him in 11. Obviously nobody gets a single digit numbers yet, so it's really difficult. But I think you got to throw him in a teen. Throw him in a 13 or something like that.
Try it on. See how it feels.
Yeah. So I don't like that one. 86, no good. Pierce Newberry, 56, linebacker. Isaiah Mosey, wide receiver, 84.
Okay. Oh.
I don't know. Jamarian Parker, running back, 24. Good running back number, 24.
Yeah.
Tanner Church, tight end, 41. I think he's a tight end. Caden Vermas, 48. Bryson Weber, 39. Those are big numbers for secondary players. Transfers, all right?
Okay.
Let's get cooking here. Justin Rhett, the transfer from Georgia, 19.
Oh.
Safety. He's a safety.
Oh.
He's a safety.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know what to do with a lot of these.
Well, you seem to like them all.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. Isaiah Hunter, wide receiver, University of Nebraska, formerly University of California, Berkeley. 13. Oh, really? We disagree on numbers, Josh. We do not
Wide
see
receiver,
we,
13?
we would be a good team of macro data refiners because we disagree on numbers. 13. I think Isaiah Hunter is the winner of this list so far.
Wow.
13 wide receiver. It's really good.
Todd.
That's
Todd.
an A+,
Todd.
A+ for me. Jalen George, defensive lineman, transfer from East Tennessee State University. 90.
Love a 90.
90. Yeah, now you got to be in the 90s.
That's a coveted jersey.
You got to be in the 90s, or you got to be a single-digit number if you're on the defensive line. Andrew Marshall, cornerback, University of Idaho, or Idaho University. I apologize. 10. 10 is a great number. 10 rules. Love 10.
I don't mind it.
Love 10. Love 10. Elijah Pritchett,
Mm.
University of Alabama.
That's a big one.
Starting probably left tackle. 57.
Love it.
57 is good. For left tackle, I want my left tackle in the 70s. But
Yeah,
if it's his preference to be a 57, that's cool with me. 57. Jameer Khan, defensive back somewhere else. 13. Southern Illinois. He was a Saluki. 13. It's good. I think 13 is a good football number. Good football number.
Good football number.
Kevin Gallick, long snapper.
Oh. Now, a lot of problems at this position last year. Maybe it was the jersey.
46. I love it. 46, the most innocuous number. Nobody wants to be in the 40s. You put your long snapper in the 40s. You're like, who's the 40s guy running around out there trying to chase down a punt? Yeah, 46 is good for me. Jack McAllister, new punter, University of Washington. 38. It's a fine punter number.
Fine punter. Yes.
Desan McCullough, the defensive, really like kind of edge rusher, linebacker type of guy. What do you think here? 22.
Oh.
I love the number 22. Not on
an edge rusher.
Not on an edge rusher. I think you want to try and be in the teens if you could get it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try and be in the teens if you could get it, or you obviously want to be a single-digit number, and as we previously discussed, those aren't available.
Not yet.
Dane Key, University of Kentucky, wide receiver, rocking number 18.
Oh, 18. Not what he wore at Kentucky.
What was he at Kentucky? 6?
Yeah.
18.
18.
You can't be 6.
Wide receiver.
You can't be 6. 6 is canceled.
Sure.
I like it. I'm good with it.
Okay.
In the teens, you're fine. You need your best players in the teens. Marcus Watson Trent. My guy's probably going to start at linebacker, Georgia Southern University. 26. It's a bad number.
It doesn't feel right.
It's a bad number. Nope, doesn't feel right. Rocco Spindler.
Okay.
He about to start.
That's a big one.
At guard.
Gets what he wants.
50. 50's a great guard number,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
I'm okay with this.
Hardly Gilmore, 14, wide receiver, University of Kentucky. It's cool. It's fine by me. Josh coughs at it. He didn't like it. Marcos Davila, backup quarterback.
I'm sorry. You said so many numbers. Hardly Gilmore the 4th, 14.
That's right. Marcos Davila, backup, maybe potentially backup quarterback, 16.
Okay.
William,
I hope to never see that jersey on the field.
Gabe Moore, 95. Gabe Moore got the best deal out of this deal. Maybe he's the best guy. And Williams Nowerney, 96.
Okay.
I just think for that kind of guy, that body, you got to get him in either like 99. Like he seems like a 0 candidate.
Okay.
Obviously.
Do you have the dimensions of Williams Nowerney?
I mean, roughly probably like, I don't know, 6'6" to 80, like he's a big, no, not 280, like probably 50, 60.
I'd like my 96 to be heavier.
Yeah, I'd like my 96 to be heftier.
Yeah.
For sure. I like him to be holding up some dudes. I think he's going to be getting after the passer a little bit. I don't need him in the 90s.
Yeah.
We got to get him in a single digit. We got to get him down to 11, 12. I know some of these numbers are spoken for.
Would you agree?
We could get him into like a 44.
Okay.
I would mess with a 44 on that. Randy was a 44.
Sure.
44 Randy was better than 4 Randy.
That's right.
Because 4 Randy took over after Levante left 4.
Would you agree?
I don't know. I don't know about these guys and their decision making.
Yeah, you got to question it right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Fattest backup has to be number 69.
Like a backup offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's already in there somewhere, but not a newcomer. Sal writes in, what's the single best football number?
Oh, wow.
I submit 3 and 44, maybe 7. Sal, the first number that came to mind from me was 7. 7 is a hell of a football number. Wearable by anybody, except for offensive linemen.
Right.
Quarterback 7, love it.
Classic.
Running back 7, I don't want it. I don't like single-digit running back guys, except for 1 or 2.
Oh, okay.
1 or 2 is fine. Other than that, I think you got to be in the 20s, potentially the 30s, but not above 35.
Correct.
All right. So 7 is really universally applicable. You could go wide receiver number 7, corner number 7, linebacker number 7, defensive lineman number 7, safety number 7, wide receiver. Absolutely. I just said that already, but right. 7 is great. 7 is a great number. If I redid the numbers bracket again, like I did in 2020 when it was COVID, it would be 69 versus 7 in the final.
Wow.
Because everybody would always vote for 69.
If you're creating a new jersey, a new uniform set for your team, one of the prototypes is going to be 7.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you're going like by year. It's like, it's 25. Which is
fine. Yeah, whatever year it is.
Yeah, which is fine. All right. That's what I'm talking about. That's a segment, ladies and gentlemen.
Did it.
That's how you do it. We're back with college basketball reaction, overreaction next on 1620 The Zone. Mountain West Player of the Year, Donovan Dent, has entered the transfer portal.
Donnie D.
One of the National Player of the Year candidates right now, Donovan Dent.
Really?
Yes, Josh.
Okay.
Yes, very good.
Never heard of this guy.
Really? He's a baller. You must not be watching Mountain West hoops.
I'm not Michael Brunts for the 20th time.
Oh. All right, I guess. By the way, I got a couple comments on numbers. Jeff writes in, Mills should be 18. It's a good one. I like it. John, why do you hate the 40s? I wore 44 back in the day.
Oh, yeah. You're going to ruffle feathers.
40 is just where 40s are just where you stick the dudes who ain't going to play. Except 44.
So 44 is playing.
45 is Rudy.
That guy sucks.
Like 40, I wore 45 in high school.
Jordan wore 45.
I wore 45 because it was, he sucked at baseball. Or was he? Yeah, he was 45 in baseball, right?
Yeah. He was coming around, and then there was a labor stoppage.
Get the hell out of here. If you're 45, you're the worst guy. I mean, I'm sorry. If anybody's listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I think you're right, Connor. I'm sorry to break this news to you, but you sucked if you were 45. I sucked at football. I wore 45.
Quote, 45 is the worst. Connor Happer.
No.
That's a quote that you said.
Best 40.
45 is the worst.
That's not, well, that's out of context. Notable athletes who wore number 45.
Jordan.
Yeah. Johnny Majors.
Okay.
Archie Griffin. Bob Gibson.
Okay.
So that is the exception that proves the rule.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're on to, Pedro was good.
Pedro was good.
Okay, baseball 45s are fine. That's what we're learning. Baseball 45s are fine. Football 45s, it's not 1960 anymore. Get a new number. Rudy Tomjanovich.
He got punched in the mouth.
Let's see. Yeah, there's not much going on here, guys. Hey, Michael Jordan. Hey, Michael Jordan, number 45.
I mean, the song didn't go when I come back like Rudy T wearing the 4-5.
No. Who wore 45 the best? NBA Countdown.
Feels like a Bill Simmons page 2 story from
Donovan
1999.
Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Once again, exception that proves the rule.
Cavs title contenders? I don't know.
Not a lot of great 45s. That's all I got to say. All right. Not a lot of great 45s. Evan, yes. Bob Gibson, he was incredible. One of the greatest of all time. He was 45. But we already established baseball 45s are fine unless you're Michael Jordan. You sucked. Okay. So that's why. Greg in Myrtle Beach is here.
Hello, Greg.
Do we have any offensive tackles with a jersey number equal to the number of sacks they gave up, like Bryce Benhart's 54?
Oh, no. That's clever.
Aaron says 5 is a great running back number. 5.
Little scat. It's got to be a little tiny scat back.
No. Wasn't like Steve Slayton. You had Pat White, Steve Slayton. Pat White was 5 and Steve Slayton was 7. Like was Noel Devine 7 too, or 5? One of those guys were 5. I was like, man, those guys were awesome.
Reggie Bush
is a good 5. Marlon Lucky was 5, and then he ended up being 20. 5 is if you have to end up with 5, it's not the worst thing in the world if you're a running back, but
if you're a guy like Blake Bortles,
wouldn't be my first preference.
Or Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh yeah, if you're Blake Bortles, you're taking 5 all day long. 5 wouldn't be the worst number to end up with. Nice square number.
David Carr.
Nope. Dave emails in.
Hi, Dave.
Hey guys, I'm really particular about offensive line numbers.
Okay.
Centers should be in the 50s. Guards should be in the 60s. Tackles should be in the 70s. It looks amazing when they're lined up. Dave, I will subscribe to that cautiously. But I generally agree with you. Centers in the 50s, guards in the 60s, tackles in the 70s. Tackle, I love a tackle, 77. Give me if my tackle is 77, I feel good about the season.
Real quick.
Good one. Rashad Mendenhall, 5.
Leonard
Fournette.
Fournette.
Because Juice was 7 and Rashad Mendenhall was 5. That was a backfield. Those were guys. Dennis Dixon, 10. Oh, man, Dennis Dixon.
Platcat says Jemiah Neal, GOAT number 5.
Jemiah Neal might be the greatest number 5 anyone has ever seen at anything. Better than George Brett, people are saying. All right.
Wow.
What?
You just your ranking system there. I would have thought.
I know
you would have done it that way.
Yeah, I know. Call it recency bias, I guess.
Sure.
College basketball reaction over reaction.
Oh yeah.
What are these writers up to? They ain't doing nothing.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
I know. So what do they have to say to us today, Josh?
Well, we begin with take number 1.
Why do you have it on a hard copy?
I love a hard copy. You know this about me.
It's on a erasable Google Doc.
So, but the writers feel like they're not writers if they're typing, so they needed a quill pen and all that jazz.
No. You printed this.
We need a case of Mont Blancs. No, you don't, writers.
They are pretty.
These are lean times.
They are pretty particular. Yeah.
Take number 1.
Yeah, right.
The Big Ten is the best coached league in the country with the additions of DeVries, McCollum, and Medved.
Well, I don't think any of those 3 names would enter into like my top 5 of Big Ten coaches at this point.
Sure.
But it might be the most complete. There's not many holes in the Big Ten. So let's think about
T to B, it's a great coaching conference.
So T to B.
Top to bottom.
I know, I got you.
It's quicker.
I got you. No, it definitely was. Big Ten, Izzo, Painter, Dusty May, Dana Altman.
People forget about Dana Altman.
Yeah, that's a good top 4. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. SEC, you got Bruce Pearl, you got Nate Oates, you got Calipari, you got my close personal friend Mark Pope was doing an excellent job. Maybe I'll go watch him this weekend because my brother got eliminated from the tournament. Rick Barnes, Todd Golden, the pretty boy. That's good. That's a good crew. I'd say that's probably a little bit better than the Big Ten's like top. Big 12, you got Kelvin, don't call me Kevin, Sampson.
That's right.
Bill Self.
For how much longer?
TJ Otzelberger, Scott Drew. So I guess it's about like what you prioritize. Like, right, or if we're ranking the coaches, you probably have to talk about their track records, right, and their resumes. But if you go T to B, as Josh said,
that's right.
You could probably make a case. Probably make a case for the Big Ten.
I noticed you didn't tout the Big East coaches.
Oh, you want to talk Big East coaches?
I mean,
well, I just figured I'd be too biased.
It's not the Big East coaching.
Well, it
isn't as deep.
Rick Pitino. Well, I mean, T to B, it's pretty good.
It's pretty deep.
But it doesn't have as many. I mean, it doesn't have as many championships. It doesn't have as many.
One school has a vacancy.
Yes.
So incomplete.
But I mean, okay, you could do Pitino, Hurley, Shaka, Mack. Actually, 2 schools have a vacancy for the record.
Oh.
And Ed Cooley, respect.
Mm-hmm.
Thad Matta's won some games. Chris Holtman's won some games. Kim English. And then our poor baby boy Shaheen.
Well.
And then 2 openings.
Incomplete.
Xavier and Villanova. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good list.
Pretty good.
I'll say no. I'll say that the Big Ten is not the best coach league in the country, just because I'll take the field. I'll just take the field.
Smart.
Next.
Connor, would you like to double down on Auburn being vulnerable, or will you admit defeat on your brave stance?
Are the writers addressing me personally?
I read it the way it is written. I am Ron Burgundy in this matter.
Connor, would you like to double down on Auburn being vulnerable, or will you admit defeat on your brave stance? Thank you for commenting on how brave I was, for saying that. That's appreciated.
Writers gassing up their host.
Here's the
deal. It's smart play.
I think they're really good. The expectation is that they're the best team in the country and that they will win the national championship. I think each of the other 3 1 seeds are better than them.
I know less about ball, but I would agree with you on Duke and Houston being better.
Oh, you don't know about Florida?
I really don't know about Florida. Just that one game I watched over the weekend.
They are good. They can win a lot of different kind of games.
I know they
too.
don't have Joakim Noah anymore.
Now, fortunately, they wouldn't have to play any of those teams until they got to the Final Four. And then there's me saying, I don't know about Auburn. And there they are in the Final Four.
Right.
Losing to other 1 seeds.
That's a tough look.
But what I'm saying is the bar was mega, mega high. And I'm not sure that they can clear it. That's all. I think I wouldn't say that they have like holes, right? We're talking about teams at the top of the sport. I wouldn't say that they have holes, but just watching them, I prefer the others to them. I prefer,
yes.
Like I prefer Houston being able to, win a game against them, Duke trying to win a game against them, Florida trying to win a game against them. And like it's possible that they go down this weekend too.
Well, I mean, it's possible for anyone.
Yeah, it is. Yes, but I'm. They get Michigan and then either Michigan State or Ole Miss. People are taking Michigan State out of that bracket.
I mean, that's because
they're Izzoing themselves. Yeah. They're like, oh, I could Izzo.
He doesn't look well, by the way.
He's always mad at something.
Man,
he's always doing the thing where Hurley's doing, where he's just rubbing his face.
This is reckless for me to say.
Okay.
I'm not a doctor, but Tom Izzo looks like hypertension.
Okay. All right. Thank you for saying that, Josh. Now it's on the record. Next.
You can't be one of the top jobs in college basketball without being a Big Ten or SEC school.
Interesting premise.
Okay.
Interesting premise, right? Those conferences have all the money.
They do.
And people forget, Josh, it's all about the money.
I've heard this.
These days. Now, I will mention that Duke, North Carolina, Kansas are definitively not in either of those conferences.
Oh, that's true. Okay. I don't know why that was not my immediate thought.
Is it possible to be one of the top, but basically the question is it possible to be one of the top college basketball jobs in the country without football money? And my answer is yes.
Yes.
It's about what you prioritize. Right? Now, like, I don't know that people will, I don't know that prospective coaches will see it that way. Right? You get the figures thrown in front of your head and you say, here's what you're going to get paid and here's what your NIL, thing is going to be. And we're going to up this. And we're going to build you a building and facilities. And we're going to have everything you ever need. And you could make those guarantees if you're a Big Ten or SEC school when you make a coaching change. Like Iowa is probably just got done saying all of those things to Ben McCollum over the last couple of days.
And Ben believed him like a sucker.
And Indiana just got done saying all those things to Darian DeVries over the last couple of weeks.
Pay no attention to the crazy people outside, D-Rock. It's fine.
Right. But like, where does that put a job like UConn? How good of a job is UConn?
That's a great job, right?
I think so.
Not every Big East school is a great job, even though they would prioritize basketball.
Like,
but UConn is a great job.
Frankly, I think that program, they won a national championship under Kevin Ollie, right? Like,
people forget.
People do forget that. That's been a team that's been really good and a program that's been really good for a long time. They care about basketball. And obviously you want to have a good coach and you have to have a good coach in order to maintain that success. But like, if you're doing the scale of how much of this is because of Hurley and how much of this is because of UConn, I'd say it tilts to the side of UConn. Now, if you do it at Creighton and you say how much of this is because of Mac and how much of this is because of Creighton, it tilts heavily to the side of Mac, doesn't it? Right? So I like that's. So my answer is yes. You can be one of the top jobs in college basketball without football money, but with that, because there are still programs around the country who choose to prioritize this, and they absolutely will pay and will spend and will invest in their college basketball programs. Next.
Last take here from the writers today. You'll take the trade of no classics or Cinderellas in the first 2 rounds for a great Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final 4 rounds.
Every year we hear this, Josh. Every year we hear
got bangers this weekend in the Sweet 16.
That's what they say. If there's ever a year where, I don't know, the first 2 days just really weren't that good.
It's always the spin.
They always say, but man, look at that Sweet 16 and potential Elite 8 matches to go to the Final 4. I say no. I say no. Nothing is as good as the first 2 rounds. And yes, it is a bummer when we don't get that the first weekend. But a great second weekend doesn't really make up for it, in my opinion. I'm a college basketball sicko. I love great college basketball, and we have great programs playing each other this weekend. But there is nothing like the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. And if it doesn't deliver, then I don't view it as a trade to get better matchups the second weekend. I just view it as we went 0 for 1. And we try again in the next at bat, which is not until next year. Right? Like that's kind of it. Like people try to they try to rationalize, what happened this weekend by saying, oh, we're going to have a really, really great second weekend. There's no guarantees this is going to be a really great second weekend either.
That's true.
Just because we could put good teams up against each other doesn't mean they're all going to be good games. That's not the way it works. So no, I would prefer, if you're asking me which I prefer to be better, it's obviously the first weekend. Give me the upsets, give me the buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
And even a great second weekend doesn't make up for the fact that we had a not so great first weekend, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. I would also kind of get in here as the guy who doesn't watch college basketball all the time like you. These Sweet 16 games might be good. They might be very good. I don't know how many of them are sexy on paper.
Oh, you're not a fan of the SEC?
I am a fan of Kentucky, Tennessee, like that. Ooh.
Oh, so you're a fan of double SEC. You're a fan of when one SEC team gets eliminated.
Arizona Duke, sexy on paper.
Might not be that good.
Might not be that good.
So are you waiting to the Final 4 to get good matchups?
I don't know.
Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's just an expectation that we have of the results of games that you get out of the first weekend. We don't have that for the second weekend or the Final 4. We just don't. It's possible that we get great games, but we have an expectation for the first weekend.
Every tournament is defined by the beginning and the end.
100%. Mostly the beginning, in my opinion. All right. Thank you, writers. Great job.
Good.
Go back to sleep.
Go back to your weed.
All right. We're back to round out the hour before we talk to Bigelow. Coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host's last statement was deemed to be somewhat comical. Somewhat. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Well, yesterday we mentioned a situation.
A sitch?
Yeah, we had a situation. Connecticut coach Dan Hurley was shown on video leaving the court after losing to Florida and talking in the direction of players, staff members, coaches of the Baylor Bears who were running out to the floor to play the next game and saying, quote, "I hope they don't bleep you like they bleeped us. I hope they don't do that to you, Baylor." You know, you add that last sentence in there, it really makes it seem like you wanted to be heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so keep that in mind as we discuss the rest of this story. Now, the viral video footage was captured by Joey Ellis from Queen City News. Queen City is
Charlotte?
Milwaukee? Charlotte? Yeah, this was in Raleigh, right? Whatever. I don't know why I got caught up on that. But Joey Ellis of Queen City News.
Queen City is Cincinnati.
Queen City is Cincinnati.
Is that right? Or is it Charlotte?
I don't know.
Google's telling me two things. I'm sorry.
Where is Queen City News?
Queen City News.
We really don't have to care about this.
Charlotte.
There you go. So
we
this
were right
was
the first time.
All right. According to Gabe McDonald of Charlotte Sports Live,
always happens that way.
UConn's director of communication, Bobby Mullen, allegedly threatened Ellis, the reporter who took this video, saying he would, quote, ruin his life if the video isn't taken down. Then UConn made a statement last night and said the lasting image of Coach Hurley leaving the court should have been his walking off the court arm in arm with his seniors, overwhelmed with emotion. Instead, a reporter who was in the area he should not have been recorded this on his cell phone, a private comment made to members of another coaching staff. Definitely a private comment, as it was shouted and then repeated multiple times by head coach of UConn, Dan Hurley.
Also, in that statement right there, aren't you kind of admitting that, hey, our coach is fake as hell. The last thing you should have seen was him being a nice guy to his players. But then you kept the cameras rolling, you jerk.
I can't believe how bad this was. Get the bungle alert out. This is bungle. This is bungle territory. I've never seen anything bungled worse. It's a video of Dan Hurley yelling the F word. There is a million of them.
Everybody's got one of those videos.
Everybody's got one. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
You don't need to make a statement about it. You don't need to threaten anyone online about it. Leave it alone. It goes away in 3 seconds. Everybody sees the video of Dan Hurley yelling the F word. Everyone's seen it a million times. Mm-hmm. Like you said, everyone's got one.
Everyone's got one.
We don't need to comment on this. And now we have a back and forth, and we got like people saying, you know, the big journalists, they're like, well, I stand by my reporters reporting if they're threatening to kill us or to sue us, or like this isn't the White House.
No.
This is sports. All right. Stop taking yourself so seriously. That's all.
And
that's the whole deal, man. Stop taking yourself so seriously. You said the F word out loud. Everyone said it. It's on video once. It's a bad look, sure, but nobody cares.
Why did the UConn PR guy think he could do this? Gosh, maybe in the tiny little village known as Storrs, Connecticut, this thing happens all the time. Kind of like Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville and suddenly realizing, wait, I don't walk on water here.
Did the video need to get tweeted out? Did the video need to be spread all across social media? Like, no, not really. But that's not the point. Like, stuff gets on video all the time.
Imagine living in a world where you don't think you're being videotaped 24/7.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. So this is bad for UConn. It's just a bad look. It's so stupid. And now apparently there is there an investigation?
I read last night that there's an NCAA investigation.
But is that true? That seemed fake to me when I read that.
This has to be like, hey, we'll look into it. We'll get around to it.
Nobody's getting investigated for this.
No.
Everyone just shut up for 3 days and let it go away.
Yep.
That's it.
Like, you're in Charlotte. You're probably not covering UConn again. Like, it's fine, everybody. It's fine.
So this is how I'm not a PR expert.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
No. Josh said to save me from being canceled many times.
Many times.
Thank you.
Look out for my guy.
Maybe Josh is the PR expert. Josh, would you like to weigh in?
I believe I have throughout the course of this story.
All right. So I'm not pretending to be the best person in the world at these things, but like, this does not need to be blown up at all.
No.
Totally not a big deal at all. Especially considering the source, Dan Hurley. He of many F words.
We have reached.
He loves the F word.
Dig in our heels territory on both sides. So we'll see if either side lets it die.
Oh, good one from Blackhead. Is this a situation alert? Is this a situation alert?
Oh, yeah. We had that.
Mustache Adam says, coded, don't put it out there that our unstable head coach is unstable. I actually think, like, we've talked about this with Hurley before. Like, he just, inside of the court, inside of the game, the immediate aftermath of the game and the before of the game, the emotions of the game, they just overcome him and he can't handle himself. Outside of that 4 hours a day, he seems like a very normal person for a college basketball coach. College basketball coaches are weirdos. But like, for a college basketball coach, he seems like a pretty normal person.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's got his head on pretty straight, actually. But for the 4 hours you get him inside that arena, he is crazy. he is insane. And he's liable to say some crazy things. I wonder if he goes home at night and is like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I wonder if he sees the video of himself and is like, oh my God. Because that would be my reaction. Not how did that get on video? I would just be like, oh my God, I did that. I oftentimes see video of myself doing things at various places, and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Why did I fall to the ground when the guy made the half court shot at the let it fly shootout? I don't know. I was outside of my body.
Like, Dan gets home and his wife is just standing there, hand on her hip going, were you running a little hot, Dan? We've talked about this.
Yeah, hon. Yeah, hon. I was. So
it's on me.
Everything's going to be okay here, guys. There ain't going to be no investigation. I think that was definitely fake. I think you were duped, Josh. I saved you from getting duped.
What's a Rob Reinhart?
I don't think that's real.
He's a husband, father, Marine Corps vet. Are you questioning our nation's Marines?
I think that seems like what you would write in your profile if you want to be taken seriously.
Covering all things sports for the Herald. The Herald.
What's
Connor?
the Herald?
Auburn alum. All opinions are my own. Have a news tip? DM me. The Herald.
I don't know. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I'm not there yet. I'd like to see a notice from the NCAA.
On March 23rd, he tweeted, and I quote, Terps!
Okay. Keep looking. Okay. What else has Dan got? What is his name? Dan?
Rob Reinhart.
Rob.
Breaking, Sean Miller will be next coach at Texas, sources confirm.
Okay. I don't think he probably just aggregated that information from Twitter.
Alex Caraban will not return to UConn for his final year of eligibility, citing, quote, looming personnel changes.
I don't know if he actually said that or not.
I'm told he's testing the NBA draft waters.
That wouldn't be surprising. All right. A further Happer Show investigative report on that guy will occur at a later time, if need be.
We'll get to the bottom of
Coming up next, we'll talk to Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated, the Stretch Big Pod, The Crown, football, college basketball. Plenty more with Jacob coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, neighbor. Oh, my gosh. Is your energy bill sky high again, too?
Not anymore. My old windows were so leaky, it was as if I had a window open while my AC was running. So I replaced them with Champion windows.
Champion windows. Do you like them?
Like them. I love them. And they're guaranteed for a lifetime. They made the whole process easy. I just went online and booked my free estimate all by myself. And I got a great deal where I could buy 2 replacement windows and get 2 free.
A lifetime guarantee and buy 2 windows and get 2 free? Does that mean if I need 8 windows, I can buy 4?
He's heating up.
That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you. Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire.
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka!
Jacob, I was just telling Josh, so you have to hear it now too. I'm not a planner of things. I really like to fly by the seat of my pants. In fact, I make fun of Josh Peterson oftentimes for planning out things days in advance. But how does a nice scoop of ice cream sound tonight? That's my first question to you. How good does a scoop of ice cream sound?
Sounds absolutely delightful,
doesn't
honestly.
it?
It sounds awesome. I was actually just thinking to myself about maybe
you were thinking about ice cream.
and some baseball and ice cream because it's going to be beautiful tonight, and we've got the crosstown baseball matchup this evening. So yeah, I honestly no BS. I did kind of have ice cream on the brain.
Oh my God. I was
Yeah.
just planning out how I could, like how long the game would take. And then if I can make it to, like Blackstone maybe in time before it closes to get myself a couple scoops of some delicious homemade ice cream.
I mean, yeah, that sounds wonderful. I mean, I know we've known each other for a while, but I didn't know we were like sharing, ice cream thoughts, on the same day. I didn't know we had gotten to that point yet, but here we are. So just great minds thinking ice cream today.
Yep. Yeah, we're on the same page. That's good. Did you end up going to Seattle, by the way?
I did, yes.
You did?
I am living on very little sleep still.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was there for the first game, but and then I don't want to walk through like all my travel, but I did make it out there and make it back.
Wow.
No one wants a play-by-play of that, but
did you get there for the first CSU game, or did you just have?
I did. I did.
Oh my God.
Yep, I did.
Were you? And I'm sure now being back in Omaha, you're thinking, "Wow, air travel, what a thing! I was there, and now I'm back. It's crazy."
Yes. It was good to get back to the part of the country that I was born in and hadn't been back to since. I am a Pacific Northwest baby, and I hadn't been back since I was like 3 years old. So it was good, even if it was just a little hop, skip, and a jump. But there were some good games at Climate Pledge Arena over the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, and it's almost like they need to have basketball back in Seattle. But I'll save that for whatever the sports talk is out there.
So yeah, I'm sure there's a podcast that would invite you on if you just said bring back the Sonics. I think that would
absolutely.
All right. So as a person who was at the game, you then have to you're legally required to comment travel or no travel for Derek Queen.
It is most certainly a travel, but it's not getting called. I think Nico Medved put it well when he got asked post-game, and then he got asked about it. He got asked about it again just a little bit ago at his Minnesota introductory presser, to which he responded, "It doesn't matter. They didn't call one." So that's all that matters.
Oh, my God. They asked him about it in Minnesota?
Yes. Someone introduced themselves and said, "Nico, did he travel?" And you could see the look on his face, and he just goes, "It didn't matter because they didn't call one." So,
wow.
Someone came out swinging at his intro presser.
I guess it's a good icebreaker, like, hey, you're the guy who just, fell victim to this horrible, horrible thing. What do you think? Like, I don't know. It was only 48 hours ago. What do you think? I think it's not a bad icebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, between that and the Iowa social media clip of them putting McCollum on the PJ to fly from Des Moines to Iowa City, which is a 10-minute flight based on the research that I've conducted, it's been an interesting morning in Big Ten basketball circles.
Yeah, so I find that fascinating that all the conversation surrounding Iowa men's basketball over the last couple of weeks has been about how they don't have any money and their players weren't getting paid anything and they don't care about it from an infrastructural perspective from their program. And yet here's their new coach taking the 10-minute flight from Des Moines to Iowa City, which I thought was just amazing. And maybe a message to college basketball society. We are going to invest. We will take the PJ.
Yes. You think we don't care? We're taking the PJ 10 minutes from Des Moines to Iowa City.
Yeah.
Before introducing Coach McCollum here. And I think that's at 3:30.
Frankly, the video from the van would have been a lot different. They probably would have skipped the video if it was from a van traveling from Des Moines to Iowa City.
Yeah, I don't think they would have done that. That has kind of been the thing. The awkward social media selfie clip. What's up, team? I just got hired by Nation. It's Coach New Hire here. We're on the plane, and I can't wait to get there. Go team! Like that has become all too common with these new hires. I saw the Will Wade one. Saw the one that Nico did, and then we got McCollum before he got on the 10-minute PJ flight.
Who is your current favorite for the national championship? Who's the best team in the country that we have left?
That's a good question because I picked Houston before the tournament.
Handshake meme.
The one
Ice cream, Houston, handshake meme.
Look at us go, Hap. I know it took us 9 years, but we're finally hitting our stride, this friendship here. But the whole, I mean, it's tough for me to not say Houston. I think they've played that Houston Gonzaga game was wildly entertaining. That was one of the better games of the weekend.
That one and the Florida UConn game were probably the best two games that we had.
Yeah, that didn't involve CSU losing at the
yes,
at the
that
end.
one too. Yep.
But that one was up there, and I think I lean Houston because of coaching as well. I really am high on Kelvin Sampson. The other two popular answers would be Auburn and Duke. My biggest question with Duke all year has been, can Shire coach, or can he just get a bunch of guys together? And then Bruce Pearl remains a wild card, and they tried to put some of the doubt to rest with their showing the first weekend, but I'm still on the Houston wagon.
As you look, and I think you tweeted something about this yesterday with the additions of DeVries and Medved and McCollum. You look at the Big Ten from top to bottom, and the writers just wanted to talk about it during college basketball reaction overreaction, of course. As you look at the Big Ten from top to bottom, it's really sound. Like there's tough coaches everywhere you look, and there's good programs everywhere you look. I mean, the league right now, from a coach's standpoint, it has to be the result of obviously the investments in a lot of these programs. But I guess, what do you think when you look at the league now, maybe compared to a few years ago? It's always been a pretty well coached league, but how does it look right now to you?
It's always been pretty well coached, yes, but I think it's pretty deep. I mean, to go from Mike Woodson, Fran McCaffrey, and Ben Johnson to Darren DeVries, Ben McCollum, and Nico Medved, just in terms of X's and O's, quality of stuff that is going to get ran in the league. It's going to be, I mean, and I've preface, a little bit of bias, but I mean, the way Colorado State was running offense against Maryland, it was so pretty. And they play tough defense. They run good stuff. I've been lucky enough to see Nico Medved run a practice, run a walkthrough up close, and it's like it warms my baskall nerd heart. That is, it's very cold, but it warms my cold heart. Darren DeVries is a grinder. He's gonna get the most out of his guys, and he's got a war chest full of money, because that is Indiana basketball, and financial support will never be an issue. And then Ben McCollum, like, it's become clear that, Fran McCaffrey fatigue was a real thing. It got to the point where, the booster base, you want to talk about lack of support, it's because the coach wasn't really engaged with, the people who would fund the support. And Ben McCollum, being an Iowa guy, showing that he's been able to do more with less. And, it's going to be quite the change of pace, going from, Fran, letting it fly to, last in the country in pace, like as Drake was this year.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
they'll adapt.
Ben McCollum's shown the ability to do more with less, to get the most out of his guys. And he's been a really fun coach to watch, back to, Northwest Missouri State, and then he showed it at Drake this year. And
well, look at what they did at Northwest Missouri State. They were scoring 150 points a game.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was a clip that I was making the rounds yesterday. I think it was from 2021 when Hawkins was on that team, and the amount of passes that they made to get the right shot. It was like basketball poetry. Like I said yesterday that some of those Northwest games, it reminded me of the prime San Antonio Spurs. They were just they're going to just keep passing until they find the right shot and take it. And that's the way Ben McCollum is. He's a grinder. He's a gamer. He's similar to Joe Mazzulla, kind of, which, could rub some people the wrong way, but he just lives and breathes ball, to put it plainly.
It's a good start. And definitely a recipe to get more than, the sum of your parts, which is what Iowa's going to have to do. Nebraska's going to have to be one of those programs as well. But as you look at, we were talking about top to bottom in the Big Ten. There's your kind of elite coaches that would go in the top 10, 15 in the country. There's a few of those in this league. There's the new guys that we've talked about. And then there's like a definitive bottom too. And you're like, I mean, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with Mr. Diebler at Ohio State. That's a guy that I would put probably in that category. I'm not sure what's going to happen at Washington. I don't know what's going to happen with Mike Rhodes at Penn State. But there's some guys that you'd put at the bottom, and that's before you would get to the teams that, you know, some of the teams that have been perennially finishing at the bottom in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. I mean, Diebler, I think, is the lowest paid coach in the conference.
Wow.
It's a weird. A really weird situation for Ohio State basketball because you never want to feel like hiring the interim. Rarely works out. I think he is far and away the lowest paid coach in the conference. He was, interviewing for mid-major jobs, and he wasn't getting those, but he was good enough for Ohio State after they got hot at the end of last year. I know he was in the running for like Valpo and some other like mid-major jobs that he wound up not getting, but he was good enough for Ohio State, and now they have made that bed. The difference between him and like Rhodes and Danny Sprinkle is Rhodes and Danny Sprinkle have won elsewhere before.
Yeah.
Danny Sprinkle at multiple stops, Montana State, Utah State, Rhodes at VCU. Washington also has like sneaky like tech money. Like they're kind of like, hey, we didn't win a lot this year, but we've got bags. Like, how do you feel about Seattle? Come on down. So who knows what the future holds for Washington? But I think there's a clear cut, weakest link, and it's in Columbus.
As far as Nebraska is concerned in the portal, what do the next couple of days look like? It's hard to get a gauge on some players that Nebraska might be interested in outside of the names that we kind of are aware of. So I think maybe in the first couple of days, and Nebraska's got a game coming up next week as well. And so that maybe slows things down as far as guys who might enter the portal. Like, what is Nebraska's situation right now, given their circumstances?
It's a very weird setup, to put it lightly. The fact that they're like running game prep, basically, you're going to have an availability tomorrow, and then they're getting on the road to go to Vegas, and it's got to be pretty unique, especially with the amount of roster turnover that they're going to have. They're going to have 6 seniors that they're going to need to replace. They've clearly, I think they've zeroed in on a few guys early on, but I don't think I think there's going to be a lot of, if you notice these like lists that are getting put out by the Borzellos, the Joe Tiptons, it's all per an agent. And it's almost like agents don't have to be honest all the time. And they over-exaggerate interest from certain schools, just because they, got a text or got a call or something like that. So I think that's going to be something to watch. I think that, I think this doesn't just go for Nebraska. This goes for everybody. I think that, like, portal recruiting is going to be pretty, like, tight-lipped, like loose lips sink ships, like play it close to the vest because of the impact of money and NIL and bidding wars, or if you want to be even more like a bag off, like some of these schools don't want to get in bag offs for portal guys, and if stuff leaks out of who's recruiting who or who's getting paid what, like that could ruin recruitments that people think are sure things. So it's different. It's very Wild Westy, not just for Nebraska, but for all of college basketball.
No doubt about it. It'll be really interesting to see what names pop up there for Nebraska's board over the next couple of days, given that there's probably not, like, from your standpoint, Jacob, are there too many guys who, I would be pretty surprised if they lost many, if any, rotational players that are expected back next year at this point, given who those guys are. Like, we're talking about the Esesians, we're talking about the Sam Hoibergs, like that's kind of Berke, I guess, is the other one. Like, I don't know. I don't see him really losing any of those guys, but I haven't seen a lot before it happened.
Yeah, I don't either. And we got the confirmation yesterday of Rink Mass being back next year. I don't think that was ever in doubt or ever in question throughout the year, but I guess we made that official yesterday. People needed to get their likes on Twitter saying they confirmed it. But aside from that, I mean, Estesian appears to be driving the bus in one portal recruitment with Jalen Jackson from Purdue Fort Wayne, who's a Fort Wayne kid and played ball with Connor when they were younger. So he's clearly involved in putting next year's team together, and in some capacity. I don't think he's going anywhere. And then Sam Hoiberg, I don't think he's going anywhere. And
No.
I think they're pretty set on we've got these guys to build around, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, Jacob. Appreciate it as always. Good stuff. And enjoy this next weekend of basketball before the crown begins.
Yeah. What a weird. Yeah. No. It's gonna be. I don't have any crown bracketology because Fox Sports isn't holding me at gunpoint to make a video about it on the internet.
What do you think about? What do you think about putting Lil Red or Herbie on the roller coaster at New York or something like that?
Or how about you just make remember when they put Little Red's eyes on the scoreboard and it looked creepy as hell?
Oh.
What about
on the Sphere
Lil Red? Yeah. What about Sphere Lil Red's face? how would that?
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Because the Sphere is an MGM deal. So yeah, yes, absolutely. We need Lil Red's eyes on the Sphere. That is the thing we got to get hooked up for next week. Expect that over the weekend.
Absolutely. Yes. Monday at the Sphere. Give me Lil Red.
All right, Jacob. See you later.
Yep. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of the show. Good rest of the week.
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, the Stretch Big Pod, many other things. Talking, tweeting, doing stuff. Traveling to Seattle.
Yeah.
Coming back.
We got to bring the Sonics back, though, right?
We really do.
That's happening, right? It's coming.
I've been saying. I mean, people have been saying that for 10 years. They got to get a team. They'd be first up and yet here we are.
Kevin Durant should say, I want to end my career where it started, in Seattle.
Well, LeBron has to retire first and then own that team in Vegas before they expand back to Seattle.
Because they've always said they're going to.
And they could put Memphis and Oklahoma City in the East or whatever.
They'll expand and do 2 new teams at the same time.
Right.
Was kind of their.
So we have to wait
vision.
for LeBron to retire.
Well, now that he played a game with this kid,
he's on the clock.
Yeah,
he's on the clock.
Tick tock.
All right, we are back after this with a couple odds and ends here on 1620 The Zone. excited to talk some Royals baseball tomorrow on the show. They make some baseball picks. I know the Royals put some guys on the injured list today.
Oh, no.
Including Alec. I told you to dump the body in the marsh. You love that one.
I do. I do.
All right. But I am excited to talk to Jake tomorrow, so that'll be good. They have a final lineup out before it's go time. Thursday in Kansas City, where the weather looks fine. And people will be eating ice cream out of baseball helmets.
Where's Cags going to be?
Cags is going to be
single, double, triple?
I would think double.
That would be my guess as well.
Would be my guess.
I'd like to see it confirmed.
We'll get that. We'll probably get that by the end of the day.
Sure.
Or tomorrow. All right. Let's take a phone call. Perfect. Great timing to have a chat with our dear friend, Random Mike. Hi, Mike. What's on your mind today?
I caught your podcast with Mitch.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of Walter Cronkite. How do you like that comparison?
What? I mean, I love it so far. It's great.
Is the president okay?
I think Will Bolt has lost Mitch. I mean, Mitch was pretty down on.
He was
on his prospects.
He was. He was like, "We gotta have."
Did that surprise you? It surprised me.
I mean, when you think about it, and we went through all the stats earlier on the show. Like when you think about it, it is it's pretty damning. I don't know what the heck is going on over there, but they cannot figure it out on offense.
Yeah, and did you have the feeling when Will Bolt came back? Was it his first year where we played Arkansas?
His first full year, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you have the impression that this was him and his staff was a coaching upgrade over Erstad? Not that Erstad was bad, but I thought it was a step up.
I thought I really appreciated Will's. He's an expert on college baseball. He really seemed like he loves college baseball, and like there's a certain mindset that you have when you come from the background of college baseball instead of professional baseball, like Darren had, right? And Darren was a grinder, and like they tried to take on, and you can only get the mentality, unless it works, So yeah, I did. I mean, to short answer your question, yes, I did think it was an upgrade.
But you thought it was an upgrade, yeah. And Will had the Van Horn connection.
Right.
And Van Horn was kind of magical around here. I mean, what he did.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was a huge part of it too.
They called Will Little Van Horn. He was Van Horn's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of stuff, the small ball, what really impressed me was Luke. What was his last name? Luke Roskin?
Roscom.
And what a great year he had. Under Bolt and his staff. And I was really impressed. And it's been up and down. But hell, look how they ended last year.
Yeah.
And in fact, that Big Ten tournament was an example. I mean, they were horrible in that first game, and then they won the damn tournament.
Right.
I don't know if that ever been done before. The guys got better. But look, I was looking at their stats. So many of the returning guys are just having really bad starts to the year.
I know.
But Gabe Swanson, in the postseason, he was as good as any Husker I can remember in the postseason.
I know. Well, and in the regular season, he wasn't though. Last year.
And how do you explain that? Because he was fantastic in the biggest games of the year.
I mean, I don't know. You could explain it by saying it was a 2-week long heater.
Yeah, but isn't that baseball too, where there's you get hot and you have slumps, and a lot of them have. I think a lot of that can change. But let me tell you, this guy that's pitching, is he pitching tonight? He spelled Yesa, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
that is a major talent. Have you seen him?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't this year. No.
I mean, it looks like he's got the best stuff on the team, and in fact, Will referred to it last night that he might become.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, he's from Lincoln Southeast. I want to say, is that right?
No, I think he's from Colorado.
Oh, okay. Carson Jasa.
Yeah, pronounced Yasa. Yeah, I mean, major stuff, and throws it in the high 90s. And you could tell Tillis is extremely excited about it. But hey, tell me this. I fully expect my man Gavin Griffiths to transfer. Are you hearing anything, though?
I've heard nothing on anybody leaving from Nebraska. No, I haven't.
He was a national top 40 consensus recruit. I mean, he's the highest. How many national top 40 recruits has Nebraska basketball had over the years? Very few.
I never got the sense, though, that he was like, that he felt like he was being wronged or anything like that because of the lack, out of the lack of playing time he got. I just kind of felt like that was the way he fell into the rotation, and it wasn't much.
Yeah, and I think part of it is, first of all, he did not play well early, and it was him and Connor were kind of switching off. And I like Connor a lot. Is Connor recruiting a top guard recruit? I mean, I don't know what's going on there.
A season with the transfer from
Is he bringing in some guard that's really good? Is he trying to?
Hey, you go with the connections with anywhere you got. That's all. I don't know how good the guy is.
Is this guy really good? Can this guy really help us that he's trying to get?
Well, I'm sure. I mean, if he was an all league player in whatever league IPFW, I guess, was in, then yeah, I mean, I'm sure that guy could help.
But Gavin Griffiths, if you've seen his high school film, there's a reason he was a top 40 national consensus. And what Herstad said about, what our coach said about him at Big Ten Media Days, he said straight out, this guy's going to have a really good year. He's an outstanding player, and he's an athlete. And obviously it hadn't worked out, but I think part of it is his size, and the two really good players we had are kind of similar size with them gone. Is it possible that he'll play more and show what he can do? Because he can do a lot.
Yeah, I think he's got a big opportunity. I imagine they'll, obviously they'll try to win as many crown games as they possibly can, but you also want to take a look at some other guys that you might not have gotten a good look at. So that I imagine that'll be a priority next week when they play in Vegas.
But I think Jacob didn't even mention him, and I don't think he thinks he's going to be a factor, and that he'll probably transfer. That's the impression I get.
I didn't mention him earlier in my thing because he wasn't a rotation guy this year, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what he did.
Yeah, but when you see why he was a top recruit, I mean, seriously, have we had many recruits over the years that are consensus top 40 national recruits?
Not too many. Maybe like Ty Webster.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, obviously you never know, but if you've seen what he's capable of doing, and Hoiberg was really excited about having him, it'd be great to see. But hey, one more thing. I was in a cookie shop in Lincoln that I go to, and for some reason I asked him, "Hey, are any of these cookies healthy?" And she said, "No." So I got a kick out of that.
Good to talk to you, Mike.
Take care.
That last part may have been the most random thing he's ever said.
Ow, my side hurts.
Every once in a while.
That is an A+ dad joke. That is incredible. That is as good as it gets for Random Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, and I never know what he's going to say. Hey, I went to a cookie store in Lincoln, and I'm like, all right, here we go. My antennas are up. What happened at the cookie store? And I asked him if any of the cookies were healthy, and she said no. That's fantastic. Absolutely great. Thank you for calling. I don't know why he's so obsessed with Gavin Griffiths, so I have seen his tape. He looks great on tape. They didn't play him.
Fallen in love with one athlete based on one performance one time.
They didn't play him over a lot of guys this year. I don't know what his future looks like. Hopefully he maybe there's some growth for him. Jeff says Random Mike is obsessed with Gavin Griffiths. Yes. As the lyric in the song said, of the parody song that I wrote. People forget about that.
We could play it again if Nebraska Baseball misses the
I have to make a remix
tournament.
I have to make a remix. Mr. Sindelar writes in, a broadcast partner of mine from this past weekend.
That's right.
I've been lost in the wilderness, Did Nick Prado make the opening day roster? Not an opening day roster yet, and no, he did not. He's not going to be. He's not going to be on that roster. I believe he cleared through waivers yesterday.
Oh,
so which means he will be not on the 40-man roster and hanging out in Pavilion, USA.
Papillon
all year long. All year long.
And he's going to love it.
Oh, of course. As he has. Jack John writes in.
Jack John.
Random Mike got pretty Titanic Johnson-y there at the end. What was that?
What a deep cut.
I know that was early. When did the guy, what happened? When did Titanic Johnson happen? Why did it happen?
It was a man who.
No, I don't think it was like an existing. That was something that Random Mike said, right? Like Titanic Johnson. Wouldn't that be a great name?
And then somebody called in and said
Titanic Johnson.
Titanic Johnson is. You can.
That was
guess
like
where
right
it
around
went.
the period of time where the guy called in and said, "What if Patrick Mahomes was a horse?
Uh-huh.
Would he play in the Super Bowl, or would they kill him?" One of our greatest poll questions that we've ever had. All right, we'll have to
Titanic Carl Johnson died in Wahoo in 1978.
Titanic. I remember saying Titanic Johnson. What the heck is going on here?
He was.
We spent the whole segment on it.
He was on board the Titanic and survived.
And they called him Titanic Johnson. And he's from Wahoo. We were probably looking if there was anybody from Nebraska who was on the Titanic and survived. And turns out there was. And they nicknamed him Titanic, which is incredible.
That's why.
Because his last name is Johnson.
A very common last name.
Back with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, let's go over to the polls.
Polls. We got them.
All right, so Jack John follows up, by the way.
Hi, Jack.
As I recall, you guys were discussing the Titanic that day, and a guy called in to tell you about a Titanic survivor from Nebraska named Titanic Johnson. He ended the call with, "So yeah,
that's right.
Go Big Red."
That's right.
That was incredible. Do we not have that, Josh? What happened?
I don't have it in the. I have it in my files, but I can't play it.
No. I mean, just like, do we have it? Does it exist somewhere? We'd have to find the day. Or do you have it separated?
I believe we turned it into a promo.
Okay, thank God.
And I have the promo.
Thank God. Curtis writes in.
Hi, Curtis.
Brandon Mike channeling Seinfeld. Kramer, we saw the sun rise at Liza's. George. Manelli? No. I had so many cookies were healthy. Any cookies healthy? No. All right. Here are the polls. Is there a short person epidemic in Chicago? I don't know the answer to this.
I mean,
I'll say yes. I'll agree with Matt.
Gotta trust the source, right?
Yeah, he knows. That guy knows Chicago. 79% say yes. Do we all need a post spreader?
Good tool to have in your shed.
78% say yes, or 68% rather say yes. Is 46 the most innocuous number?
I'm going to go no.
All right.
I don't know what I would name, but I'm just going to take the field, I guess.
57% say no. Okay. And finally, does a scoop of ice cream sound delightful?
You bet your sweet bippy.
It really does. It's probably one of those things where it's like you just say it and you're like, ice cream?
That's it. Got to have it.
90% say yes. 10% say ice cream sucks. What are you talking about?
Idiots.
All right, those are the polls. Josh, what are we watching?
We're watching the NIT quarterfinals, of course, on ESPN2.
No.
6 o'clock doubleheader. Chattanooga Bradley.
Hello.
And then North Texas, Oklahoma State.
Chattanooga Bradley's starring in a film coming up.
Chattanooga Bradley stars. Feels like a war pick. And then the semifinals of the Purple CBI are on at 6 o'clock tonight on ESPNU. Illinois State versus Incarnate Word. And Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast, takes on Cleveland State.
All right.
Who you got?
I got, give me Cleveland.
Okay. And in the NBA tonight on TNT doubleheader, hell comes to Miami as Jimmy Butler returns to the 305. I don't know what his props are, but why don't you go ahead and take the over? It's a bleep you game for Jimmy Butler as the Warriors take on the Heat in Miami tonight at 6:30, followed by Thunder Kings at 9.
Thunder Kings.
Match 2 of the best of 3 TGL championship. I don't know who's winning 1-0. Please don't ask me. 6 o'clock ESPN between the Atlanta Drive and the New York Golf Club. And finally, on Netflix, a new comedy special starring Chelsea Handler. It's called The Feeling. From ruining Thanksgiving to a wild summer fling, Chelsea Handler recounts coming of age, unexpected encounters, and that time she met Bill Cosby. Producer Josh asks, do we still care about Chelsea Handler?
No, not at all.
Good take, Connor.
She used to do that one show, and I didn't even care then.
Thank you. It's a good take.
Thank you, Josh. That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. We have a crossover to do coming up next.